Oh, that makes the hairs on the back of my neck just stick up on end. I love that intro. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to DTM Esports 2025. My name's Luke Crane. I'll be one of your hosts today, and I'm joined by the ever-wonderful Connery Maddock. Connery, how you doing?
I'm doing very, very well indeed. As we head into essentially spring, the day's getting longer, weather's getting warmer, but our appetite for racing action is still continuing to rise as well, I suppose.
Of course. Today is like no other. I say like no other. It's exactly the same as round 1 and 2, with hopefully the same amount of action. We've got Community Cup action, which is open to absolutely anybody that has not already qualified for DTM Esports. Each and every round, there is a time trial you can enter to get involved in that. And they use historic cars. And if there is available, it's historic tracks as well. We then have ourselves round 1 and race 1, and race 2 of round number 3 at the Nurburgring. God, lots of words to get out there. We've had 4 different winners already this season, Connery, so this is just going to be maybe one of the closest title fights we've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's definitely looking like one of the closest championships that we've ever had in DTM Esports. I mean, even over the last couple of years, we tend to know who's going to the one or two that's going to be in contention from a very, very early stage. However, this is not really the circumstances that we find ourselves in. We've had those 4 different winners. It seems like you just pick a random driver from the top half of the field and they could potentially win one of these races. So yeah, that is particularly exciting. I don't know if this race or the next race, the dust will settle a little bit so we get a clearer picture as far as championship is concerned. But for now, I'm just very much enjoying how close things has been.
Yeah, well, pretty much everybody's had a bad race apart from one driver. So Isaac Price has been the most consistent, and that is why he takes a lead in the championship heading into today's round. But let's check out then the calendar for the season, so you guys know exactly what is going on. Of course, we've already had round 1 and round 2. Round 3 is today. We're at the Nurburgring. Then we have a DTM Esports special event, which, again, we still have no idea what that is. We then head to round number 4, which is the Saxon Ring. Then we head to the Red Bull Ring, which is round number 5. And then the finale in July will be at the Hockenheim Ring. Let's check out today's timetable so all of you at home know what you're sort of here to expect, and maybe you can go get yourself some drinks and snacks. But the stream start time is at 7:10. That is, of course, European time. That's already happened, believe it or not, because you can hear my voice. Welcome to the broadcast. Already done that too. What about the Race Community Cup? Well, that's happening at 1:30. So we've got about 11 minutes before the race does indeed begin. Then we have qualifying 1 for race number 1, which is 10 minutes long. Race 1 is 20 minutes, a flat-out sprint from start to finish. And then we have qualifying 2 and race number 2. The difference between race 1 and race 2 is that race 2 has a mandatory pit stop, and it is 10 minutes longer. Let's look at the entry list then for today, or for the championship. Of course, we've got Tim Yarshall, Lucas Muller, Leonard Krippner, Gianmarco Fiducci, Vil Craivi. We've got Andika Ramat Maulana, Emre Chihan. We've got Lloyd Bidolf. We've got Turka Hakkinen, Christian Michel. We've got Philip Dreys. We've got Ilo Dravozikov. We've got Julian Kunze, Nicholas Huben. We've got Michal Neg. We've got Enzo Filipao. We've got Leonard Carton, Bence Banky, Max Pfeiffer, Florian Hasser, Christian Juhas, Patrick Jari, Bo Dixon, Luciano Whitvert, Alessandro Ottaviani, Julian Klaffenberg, Kaj de Bruin, Peter Berliak, Isaac Price, Manuel Vera Carmona, and we've got Maciej Milniak. So that is your drivers. Let's look at the past champions, though. They're all trying to join this illustrious list of drivers. Of course, in 2020, Moritz Lohner was the champion for Williams Esports. Then Kevin Siggy won in 2022 for Team Redline. Probably the most impressive championship win, though, was Tim Yarshall, because he had to beat both of those champions because they were both on the grid to become our latest and reigning champion. So, yeah, fair play to him, who will add their name to that list in 2025. Let's have a brief little look then at the balance of performance. So for this week, the Ferrari is on 0 kilograms, so no extra weight for them. That will probably help them in the second race, more so than the first. Porsche 911 GT3 has 15 kilograms, so yeah, big old, that's like, I don't know, it's like one of my legs being in the car. McLaren 720S has got 5 kilograms. We've got the BMW M4 with +2, +9 for the Lamborghini Huracan, and then Mercedes AMG has +5. Let's check out how many cars have been selected per manufacturer. There we go. So 9 Ferraris have been chosen, 10 Porsches have been chosen, 8 BMWs have been chosen. We've got 3 Lamborghinis, and then there's 1 of each for the McLaren and the Mercedes AMG. Right, let's check out then the standings, see who is indeed winning. We mentioned Isaac Price has been the most consistent driver over the course of the start of the season, and that is why he is at the sharp end. 114 points. Lucas Muller, yet to win a race this season, finds himself in second because he has also been very consistent. Tim Yarshall has had a couple of stinkers, but still finds himself in third spot, which is what you would expect from a reigning champ. Florian Hasser up there, who I can't really remember Florian Hasser having an unbelievable performance all season long, yet seems to be up there and in and amongst that championship fight. So, yeah, a couple of really big results, and you see Florian Hasser pushing himself right up there. And our latest race winners to the DTM Esports, Alessandro Ottaviani and Philip Drees, both find themselves in the top 6. Well, there we go. Right, so that is that done and dusted. Now we're going to briefly check out the highlights from the Norisring, which was unbelievable, and then we're going to head to our Community Cup action for you. And we are off, and we are running. It's 4 or 5 wide already. Isaac Price has found something with the McLaren in terms of race starts, because this is not the first time he's got an absolute worldie of a start. And I tell you what, Tim Yarshall is going to run a little bit deep here. Lucas Muller might find himself an opportunity. They are 3 wide at the front here. Ottaviani did just momentarily get involved and decided, you know what, I'm going to back out of this. Don't need to cause any potential issues. Big defensive move there from Lucas Muller. Forces Ottaviani to run wide, although he might have the overlap coming through the chicane on the exit. Doesn't quite have it. The gap down's going to increase to the front too. But wow, the lead is Isaac Price. It's by half a second. Oh, what a start. Attacking here. There has been a change for the lead. So Yarshall has got ahead then of Isaac Price. So that was what the dust was being kicked up for. And wow, Yarshall then is in the lead, and Isaac Price now with all of that hard work to do once again. But I tell you what, that Porsche looks very good in RaceRoom. Once again, Lucas Miller does look cool, calm and collected. He does look a little bit red in the face. He might be feeling the heat. As Ottaviani has actually found the perfect spot. He found the inside line this time round. He is going to miss the apex, but again, teammates tagging each other. Pressure. What pressure. This young man is the reigning champion for a reason. As he runs deep through the chicane again, this is where Isaac got the run last time out, but he struggles to get the power down. The car slipping and sliding left and right as we run down towards the final braking zone of this famed circuit in Nurburgring. Isaac Price goes extremely deep. He's going to try to cut back here. It's going to be a bit of a drag race, but Tim Yarshall is going to hold firm. He will hold on to this position, and for the first time this season, we will say Tim Yarshall is a DTM Esports race winner here in the sprint at the Norisring. Towards the start of this race, we're about to go green light racing. We are off and we are running. So the cars in the back seem like they started a little bit earlier there, but can the BMW keep hold of second position and maybe even chase down for the lead here? He has got ahead of Isaac Price. They are going to be going through their side by side. Isaac has to leave the room, and has Ottaviani got an overlap for the chicane? I think he has. This goal he doesn't. He does not. He has to back out of it. It looked like he had.
Give himself the opportunity here, but you can see the top 2 because all this battling are pulling away as Philip Drees and Yarshall, the tangle. As he comes across the start finish line, and there is Ottaviani just coming off the pit lane, and yeah, solidly behind, kind of almost pretty much exactly with the same gap as when they came down in.
Ottaviani forced to go round the outside again, gets his nose just up ahead. There is contact between the both of them. Ottaviani, though, has he got the power down early enough this time around to keep that overlap, to pinch him onto the apex of the first part of the chicane? He does, as we come through the chicane. Ottaviani round the outside. Is he going to run into the wall, though? He isn't. Oh, Isaac Price reads it like it's a book. He now has the inside line. This is fantastic stuff. Ottaviani just about ahead. Has to again pinch Isaac onto the apex. Make sure he's slow on the exit of the final corner. Isaac runs super deep. I think Ottaviani's going to get the better run though. Oh, this is going to be a drag race. I think Ottaviani's got him. This is brilliant stuff from them both. Just about on the limit. And Ottaviani, oh, take a bow. The pressure was on, but it does not matter. Well, I tell you what, I completely forgot we're broadcasting. I was engrossed in those highlights as I was during the commentary of that race. My God, what a spectacular week's racing that was a couple of weeks ago. But we head for round number 3 today. We're at the Nurburgring, 17 corners around this circuit. We, of course, are racing on the GP layout this time around. They've raced at the GP layout. They've raced at the sprint layout. They actually raced around the Nordschleife many, many moons ago. Circuit length then 5.148 kilometers. There's 2 races, of course, 20 minutes and 30 minutes. Total race distance 306.19 kilometers. Lucas Auer has the lap record here of 1:26.667. So keep that in mind. Don't worry about the first racing today, the Community Cup, because they're racing in spaceships. So they'll be very, very quick around here. But we'll keep an eye on that 26.667. In terms of the real racing. And I guess, without further ado, we should probably just head over to the, Community Cup. So we're in qualifying right now. Yes, we are.
Indeed we are. Yeah.
3 minutes, 30 seconds to go here, Connery. And it is that Portuguese man, Ribeiro, who is currently at the sharp end and right at the front.
Absolutely, and actually has decided to park it, at least for now, here in qualifying. There he is, just stationary on the pit lane. I think not feeling a need to really continue to log laps here. Very, very confident in his 149, well, 149.6 is it is on the top of the timing screens here at the moment. Gorotz just less than a tenth of a second behind, though. I wouldn't be sitting on the pit lane here if I was Ribeiro, to be completely honest. I'd be out there trying to extend my gap, because that doesn't look very comfortable.
No, it certainly doesn't. And Christian Grutta, who was in the DTM Esports Championship last season. So, you know, he's got pedigree to be right up there and really pushing the envelope in terms of pace. You've got Orban, who won round number 1. Evtushenko in 4th position there. Daniel in 5th. Ree in 6th. Pretty much the whole top 9. Top 10, actually. Brandt, Janssen, Percy. The top 13 have all been here before in this Community Cup. Then we go a bit further down. Burkes, I'm not sure I remember Burkes. Maybe we do. Tiefenbacher definitely hasn't been racing. Romeo, we remember Romeo. Trasani, remember him. Whitmers as well. Santos, Gretschel, Fraser Rostance. We've got Gianluca Vinieri. First time we've seen him in this. Oh, sorry, it's not Gianluca, it's Gianmarco Vinieri. I believe I remember commentating on him many, many years ago as well. But yeah, it's, again, nice to have the usual suspects, but there's a nice sprinkling of fresh meat out there. Hochlock is one of those drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that just all comes from the leaderboard and the car track combo, right? There might be a combo that some drivers are particularly good at, can put in a good hot lap in the leaderboards to be able to qualify into this race here today, so they get themselves the rights to show what they're made of on an actual DTM Esports broadcast, which is absolutely fantastic as an opportunity. And actually, we have a relatively more even split of drivers in terms of which car they've picked coming into this race than normal Community Cups, because usually they pick the fastest one over a lap, or your fastest car for that particular track. That's their right to do so. They're not in the same circumstances as the DTM Esports Pro drivers, because they have to pick a car that's going to be good for them throughout a whole season, but these guys just pick one for the particular race. Usually they all settle on one manufacturer, but it doesn't seem to be the case here. We got Audi, BMW and Mercedes all within the top 3. So yeah, it does seem to be that the balance of performance here, at least naturally, is relatively equal. Yeah, you soon find out which cars are strongest by literally what the drivers choose. So it looks like it's pretty even. We've got uploading, asking what games it's on. This is on RaceRoom Racing Experience. It's free to download. Go to Steam and get yourself downloaded, or go to raceroom.com and you can find it there as well. So Donovan's asking as well. But yeah, welcome everybody on YouTube if you're watching. I'm keeping an eye on the chat. I'm also keeping an eye over on Twitch as well. We've got Franjeet who's saying, let's go Peter Burliak. We've got Styles who's like, let's go Hakkinen. Of course, the main event will be happening later on. So if you've just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the first time you've ever seen this esports series, this race here is a community race. Looks like Ribeiro is going to be on pole position. So this is a time trial which anybody can take part in and then get into the broadcast each and every week, fortnight. It will be happening within RaceRoom. So you can go to the time trial section and find it within RaceRoom. So yeah, the only people who can't do it are the people who've qualified for the DTM Esports Championship, the 32 up there. So anybody can actually sign up and try and do this. So this is the community race. We're going to have a nice little sprint race between these drivers, which is always absolutely bananas, by the way. And then we have race 1 and race 2 of the actual DTM Esports that follows this. So you've got 3 races for you this evening. So go get yourself some drinks, go get yourself some snacks, because boy, it is
absolute mayhem here each and every week. Oh, God. Donovan's watching from South Africa. We'd love to see that as well. Shout out to all the Saffers out there. Lots of South Africans take part in sim racing, actually. One of the bigger nations, I would say, in sim racing. And as you can see, we're using the slower of the 2 chicanes at the back end of the lap. But that is qualifying done. Now we're just waiting for the grid to form up. And then we'll be ready for our first race of the day. Connery, any predictions?
Well, it's hard to say, given we get a relatively different set of drivers for each community race here. It looked like things were quite close in terms of qualifying and between the 2 manufacturers too as well. But I'm just here to have fun. You know, it's a community cup race. It's pretty low stakes as far as things are concerned. So I'm just hoping that we get some entertainment out there.
Absolutely. Here we go. We're about to go. Green light racing here for the community round number 3. The community cup round number 3. There are the red lights on your screen. We're about to go green, and we are off, and we are running. And well, with the slipstream in this, it's anyone's guess as to who will be in P1 as they enter the braking zone in towards turn 1. It looks like one car has decided they didn't want to get involved at the start here. Looks like Ribeiro, though, has had a very good start. Orban is currently in 2nd position, and Grotta on the inside line there. There's a big move there wide. And I tell you what, Christian Grotta has just said, thank you very much, boys. You both go wide. I'll slip up the inside. I'll take P1. Now running down towards turn number 3 in a great spot. Although he runs wide there, actually. And he might lose out to Ribeiro.
It's such a tricky turn 1 here, coming out through turn 4. Grotta trying to give the shoulder a little bit. Absolutely equal between the leading 2 as they come in towards the next braking zone now. It's Peter Daniel down in behind here as well, looking to try and get himself stuck into this. But look at that, Ribeiro regaining the race lead, a little bit squirrely on exit there as he now tries to stretch his legs. He got a very good exit despite the lack of traction, and he leads by almost half a second down into Dunlop.
Yeah, we've had 3 different leaders in the start of this race. We're only halfway through lap number 1. We've had Ribeiro, Grotta, and Orban all get their nose up ahead. Orban, though, dropped down into 4th position. Looks like Roche is also dropping down after the hairpin down at the back of the track through the Schumacher S as they come now. And Ribeiro seems to have settled in pretty nicely. So it was a very frantic start to this race. You see a little bit of action in the background there. Looks like Evtushenko trying to make a move there on Ree. The Russian is trying to make a move on the German. And Evtushenko has got it done. Absolutely nails it. Brilliantly done there from Evtushenko, one of the stars of the field last time out. Now leads the second group. And look how quick it is for the front group to get away. As soon as you start battling in these cars, you lose so much time. And then ultimately, it's so easy for a group in front to just slipstream each other and make that gap huge. You see a big send up the inside there again from Evtushenko. Orban have to go defensively. It's 4 wide, casually 4 wide as we get up towards the final corner. And I tell you what, we're about to see a big old send up the inside from Gounet. He's going to run deep. I think Evtushenko's going to retake P4. And boy, I've never ever seen it be 4 wide on the exit of that final chicane in my life. That is the first time.
Yeah, I mean, it never ends well if you do see 3 wide, let alone 4 wide, as down the inside there goes Sebastian Ree again, excuse me, as it seems like a big old battle here, just on the bottom end of the top 5 here. That Audi really applying some pressure onto the back of the BMW, but he has to look on his inside now because the Mercedes Agene has decided to stick his nose in here through the arena section. Can't get much progress done through there though. They're all stacked up nose to tail.
Yeah, Ree has just absolutely mugged everybody off because he was nowhere near at the start of the last lap at the front of this group, and now he is at the front of the group. Gounet not able to make the move, stick on Evtushenko, but look at the gap now between the front 3 and 4 and beyond. It is about 3.7 seconds, so yeah, not ideal there as Daniel, the Czech driver, has put the fastest lap of the race in, but of course it's the first lap, so it doesn't really matter. Carly, how you doing? Joe Vespi, how you doing as well? Welcome to Isra, welcome to the stream. Kirill from the Cayman Islands as well, welcome to the broadcast, guys. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself, and if you are watching, let me know where you're watching from around the world.
Cayman Islands, quite interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'd love to go there. Great. Maybe if they add a few more rounds to this Esports Championship, we could afford to go on holiday. We need like 10 more rounds. We'd be good to go. Perfect. Right, anyway, back to the racing action. Gounet just trying to put the pressure on Evtushenko here, and ultimately they're losing a load of time to Ree. But because he's on his own, once these... Oh, there's a big spin in the background, by the way. I'm not too sure exactly who that is, but there's someone up there that's like the most expensive lawnmower in the world. That's Pippert. The Pipper is all the way down the back end. He was facing the wrong way, and now finds himself down in, what, P28? So not a good start there from Pippa, as we see a bit of a send up the inside just up ahead of him as well. But look at this, look at how big the gap is coming out here. It's almost a second and a half a lap they're gaining. Just because these drivers are fighting, they're not, you know, a lot slower by any stretch, maybe a couple of tenths, and you've judged by the qualifying times. But by just fighting, it's so difficult to run offline with these cars and get that power down as early as possible, because there's just so much power to the weight ratio.
Yeah, it really is. It's very, very punishing if you get caught offline here, and Roche is just finding that out, coming through the arena section, and you know, goes from defending from one, now defending from the other, as Burke is there in 10th place, looking to try to make some progress in the Audi as well. So yeah, it's just a good example of exactly what you were talking about there, Luke, as we see more side-by-side battling going on. This is Wittmers and Tiefenbacher, I believe, for P13-14 on the way down in towards that Dunlop hairpin. Let's see if Tiefenbacher can get this done around the outside. No, Wittmers is able to hold on. And there we go. We see Janssen now stick his nose in, coming off the corner.
Yeah, brilliant stuff again. You're just going to find action across the whole grid, and we've seen this every single week from the Community Cup, and this is absolutely no exception to that rule. I've just remembered that I've called him Gianmarco. It's actually Gian Pietro, if I'm not wrong, Vanieri, who's down at P28. So I think I've completely butchered his name 3 times now. Anyway, we're about to see a battle for what would be P5 or potentially P4 actually, as we head then up towards that final chicane. Very tough to get a move done here. You've got to get it done very, very cleanly. You're going to lose a lot of time regardless whether it's clean or not, as we head now up towards the Coca-Cola curve. And again, Gounet is just about holding on to that P6. But Evtushenko, you know, he managed to get a little bit of a gap because Ree and Gounet were fighting with each other. But as soon as they figure it out and start going into single file, it's very easy to catch up a single car because of the power of slipstream. It's like magic.
Slipstream is like magic. There we go. A magical force that pulls you in down the straight. There's none of this aerodynamic stuff, you know, just magic.
Magic. It is just motorsport magic. Got Carolee, who is from Ireland, watching. Got another Sapper, Iceman Mark, welcome. Hopefully you're all having a good time. Uploading, supporting Ribeiro, maybe a Portuguese, fellow Portuguese watcher, patron, watching over on YouTube as well. Ribeiro's doing a pretty good job right now, leading the way. 13.5 minutes to go. That's plenty of time. And these cars will chew those tyres up. So the last 5 minutes of this race will be super interesting. The second group are going to have 0 chance of catching just because they've been racing absolutely ridiculously. So their tyres are going to be shot. There's no saving tyres in that second group. But this front group, if, for instance, Daniel, who is in 3rd right now, has been saving his tyres, you know, thus losing a bit of time, it might come really good for him near the end. We'll see. I guess we will find out, because we will get to the end of the race. But yeah, it will take a few minutes.
Yeah, these cars do have the tendency to eat through that rubber, shall we say. As we're going to ride on board here with Orban in one of the Mercedes. 3rd place Mercedes, actually, if you're counting manufacturers. But looking still to make some further progress. Just look at how powerful that draft is, though, coming up towards the chicane. Can't quite do anything with it just yet, though, but it'll be even more powerful coming down the pit straight down in towards turn number 1. That massive overtaking opportunity. You can see people make lunges from multiple car lengths back down into there. It's not advisable, but it's something that does happen.
And there's no scientific way of explaining what this is. It's just magic. Like I said, magic of motorsports. Slipstream. Down towards turn number 1 we go then to Orban, very close in behind Gounet. Gounet does have the benefit of the slipstream with the 2 cars in front as well. So that is why it wasn't working out as well. We can see here we're in Gary Paffett's car, of course, DTM champion, or former DTM champion, many years ago. I say many years ago. Gary, if you're watching, it wasn't that long ago, but you know, it was a while ago. At this point, he actually raced in DTM Esports during COVID. Do you remember that? Do you remember when we had those races, Conor?
That whole time period is just like a blur to me now. But yeah, I do remember. In fact, I do remember.
We had loads of drivers. We had Ben Tuck at one point, Ben Green, who's just gone into DTM. He comes from DTM Trophy. We had Gary Paffett racing. We had Timo Glock racing. We had Kelvin van der Linde, Sheldon van der Linde. We had all sorts of drivers there. We used all of the historic cars like we used for the Community Cup. As much as COVID was a bad time, we did get some really nice esports events that were quite ridiculous thinking back on it now.
Yeah, you wouldn't consider with such a star-studded grid to take to the track in the virtual world. But that's kind of what happened in both 2020 and 2021. And it gave us a lot to talk about as well, and it gave us experiences that we never thought we'd have. For example, on one broadcast, I got to commentate Verstappen and Norris going side by side down into the Cum. I would have never thought that would have ever happened in my life, but it did.
Yeah, nothing worse than talking about Max Verstappen, I'll tell you that right now. Crikey. Headed down towards the... Oh, big mistake there. Runs onto the grass. We've got Ben Hitz in the chat as well. He was a massive part of all the DTM Esports back in the day, and still is to this day as well. It's nice to see him knocking about in the chat. As we see a move for the race lead. Ribeiro takes the inside line. Grotta's got the outside line, and there's not really a lot of grip out there that far wide. And you can see how much loss of time there is. You run past that white line, I mean, it's really dusty and horrible out there. So, yeah, you've got to try and keep it in check. The outside line doesn't work necessarily, but Ribeiro under a little bit of pressure. And I would hasten to add, I think if that's the case this early in this race, I think Ribeiro might be in a bit of trouble heading towards the latter laps of this one.
Yeah, perhaps. Maybe he's taking a little bit out the tyres too early. And Grotta's been a little bit more conservative with them, and is starting to really be a big problem at this stage in the race. And well, I think they have enough buffer over this second grouping to not really worry about them coming into the equation. But Ribeiro, yeah, I mean, great early pace, but might be feeling the effects of it now.
Sorry, Grotta has got the fastest lap of the race as well, so he really is improving. He's taken a couple of tenths out during this lap, so he just needs to figure it out in towards turn number one. He lost maybe 8 tenths of a second from that mistake, so if he can get that figured out, just get a little bit closer lap after lap. Again, we're only just halfway over the race distance, so he's got plenty of time to figure this out. We've got Nomad. Are these Class 1? Yeah, they are. This is from the 2012-2013 pack in the game. So, yeah, this is old school cars. Every single DTM Esports weekend, we have a Community Cup race, which is an open time trial for anybody on the RaceRoom service. You do the time trial. If you're in the top 32, you make it to this race. And there is like a running championship as well. But then there's DTM Esports, which those are the only drivers who cannot enter the Community Cup. They are the top 32 drivers, which will be racing in last year's version of DTM cars with their own team liveries on. So you'll see that today. So there'll be 2 races at the Nurburgring with the GT3 cars, the DTM cars, coming for you very shortly. But this is the Community Cup, so this is basically like the Challenges series, if you like, of the DTM Esports. And you will see a lot of these drivers make it into DTM Esports next year. It's a cycle where there'll be some drivers that drop out and some drivers that make it through. And as you see here, this second group is just been racing bumper to bumper the whole entire race. It's the fastest formation lap you're ever likely to see. We come through turn number 4, and that is not ideal. This is what I mean at the latter stages of the race. These cars do chew up the rear tyres, and ultimately that is what will happen. You're trying to keep the position on somebody, so you just put the power down a little bit too early, a little bit too hard, and there's just no grip there to be had, and you'll just rotate the car because you've got full lock left, and the car will go, like a happy dog chasing its tail. It will spin around.
Yeah, Gane finding that out very, very quickly there. So as this train for the sort of middle of the top 10 keeps going on, Grotta has caught in the gap once again. So he's putting himself into a position where potentially he can size up for a move down in towards turn number 1. He'll sit inside the slipstream here for the run up through the kink and into the chicane. But I think if he's going to go for a lunge, it will be down in towards turn 1 again. But the thing is, he tried it around the outside last time around, didn't quite work out, sort of outbroke himself a little bit and had to push wide. Let's see if he's learned from his mistake. There's a mistake coming through the chicane for Ribeiro. There goes Grotta down the inside. Yeah,
Grotta, using all of his experience, of course, has been a big spin for the leader. Nearly takes out Grotta, but Ribeiro's done exactly the same as what we just saw into turn number 4, but this time around the final corner, and that will be a race ender in terms of winning this one. We'll drop behind the second group, and Grotta piled the pressure on, and wow, forced that error. Fair play. Christian Grotta now, he's got 6 minutes 40 seconds to hang on. 3.8 second advantage, and do you know what? He was so close to being taken out there. And Ribeiro wouldn't have done that on purpose, obviously. It's a complete accident. But yeah, Christian Grotta was so close to being tagged there.
Yeah, very, very close indeed. And yeah, I mean, I think you were doing a little bit of foreshadowing there, Luke, to be honest. We're talking about the rear tyres and how sometimes, they can really not exist that much at the end of these races, and it feels like you've got big ice blocks on your rear tires there. And but so yeah, how far did he drop down? Because that was a big moment. For your race leader, yeah. So back down into 4th there. I was looking a little bit further down because I thought it was a bit worse than it was, but at least he keeps himself sort of ahead for the most part of this trainer cars, or at least the bulk of the trainer cars. Obviously, you got Sebastian Ree got through, but still. I
think he'll still be championship leader, to be fair, considering he's the only one really who's been up there every single week. So, yeah, he saved himself his blushes, but he is going to be in real trouble. If his tyres were cooked before that moment, they are absolutely knackered now.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a very tough car to get over the line in 4th position. But yeah, Grotter's done the job there. Also, they don't have TC, so that doesn't help either. So you've got cooked tyres, plus you've got nothing really trying to help you get the power down, or or halting the power going into the drivetrain. As we see there, Rush trying to potentially, holding on to a position actually. You can see in the background there, Burquez and Romeo. I think Romeo in the Brazilian coloured car. The Brazilian has actually made a move, so Romeo's moved up into 9th position. And this is where we will see people get freebies. So I don't know if anyone here watches NASCAR. It's probably the easiest way for me to explain it. But you'll see in an oval race, cars be like a second faster a lap if they're on fresh tyres compared to someone on older tyres. And to be fair, that's in every motorsport, but it's more synonymous, I guess, with that oval. But these cars were very similar to that. Like, it's such a significant difference in old tyres and new tyres that if you can look after them, you are just in such a better spot come the end of the race. So Ribeiro, as I said, was lucky to hold on to P4. Has actually moved up to P3. So it seems like he's figured it out. The second group, I did tell you that they would be in big trouble anyway because they'd just been fighting the whole race. So yeah, Ribeiro taking advantage of that fact. Evtushenko, you can see, it's just gliding everywhere now. This last 4 minutes, expect there to be a couple of mistakes here.
Yeah, it seems like there's an ice rink at the exit of every single corner, and yeah, so this is going to be a very interesting next couple of laps to see how the drivers deal with it. Of course, coming out of Dunlop, I think you're carrying enough speed that it doesn't really have a massive effect. But coming out of slow speed corners, especially coming through the sector number 1 and then coming out of the chicane as well, where we've seen problems, yeah, it's going to be sketchy at best for these guys.
No, 100%. Could not agree with you more there. So now it's just all about nursing it. If you've got yourself into a really good position, good points, you've done the job, right? Now you just need to consolidate that position. But there will be drivers out there that will try and take advantage of that fact. Grotter, by the way, has slowed down significantly compared to this group, actually. He was like nearly 12 seconds clear. Now it's about 10.2 seconds. He is, to be fair, making the gap bigger between him and P2, but both of those two drivers have slowed down, so they just know they've got the big enough gap to work with. Just get to the end now, you get P1 and P2, but you just know that the group behind are really fighting.
Yeah, they really are, and there's Sebastian Ree all the way to the inside here as there's an attempt by Evtushenko to go the long way around, try and get the cut back underneath, but struggles to get the power down, just leaving the 11s in the road there, and has to drop back in behind.
Yeah, it's so difficult to make a move up the inside in these conditions because you just cannot get that power down very early on the exit. And, what minimal traction you do have, you just can't make the move stick. So you have to try and do something a little bit outside the box. You do have to try and take a bit of a chance. But ultimately, at this stage of the race, with this, these set of circumstances, car, tyres, track, temperature, etc., you're more than likely just going to be facing the wrong way. So yeah, it's really difficult to explain. But in a 20-minute race with these cars on this platform, the first 15 minutes is really the race. The last 5 minutes is I'm just going to hold on to the position I've worked hard for.
Yeah. Absolutely, and you can see them even sliding through the first part of the Schumacher S as well. Evtushenko having to look in his wing mirrors here because Orban is really bearing down on him, making that car really, really big in his rear view. But I mean, we still not got a lot of time left, and like you said, the performance in the tyres is really, really poor at this stage in the race. So yeah, this is going to be treacherous and a bit tricky in these final stages as they go through the NGK chicane. My word, a bit of a slide there from Orban, but able to keep it together.
No, absolutely. Seeing the final lap now being started by Christian Grotter out in front. He's now 5.3 seconds clear. We've got Ribeiro in third position. So you think the front three are pretty much sorted here. It's Evtushenko going to go out nice and wide here. Is there the potential for a top four? Ree holds that inside line. And I'll tell you what, I think if he can keep that this overlap here, Evtushenko might be the favourite to get the power down nicely and take this position. He does. So he tried up the inside and it didn't work. And he's now tried round the outside and nailed it. Although Ree is keeping that overlap. I think he's in trouble now. Evtushenko will hug that right-hand side curb and make that move stick. That's a really good move from Evtushenko. It's taken 4 corners to get it completed, but ultimately you saw that he just couldn't get it done up the inside the previous lap. Changed his approach, went around the outside and made it stick. Delightful.
Yeah, just seeing how squirrely Ree, Orban and Mackenberg actually got off of turn 4. It just the tail not wanting to comply whatsoever. Thankfully, there's not a lot of this racing left for these guys to have to be dealing with such issues. There's 16 seconds left on the clock. There is Christian Grotter. He's heading his way towards the back end of the lap now, and this will be the checkered flag next time for him.
Yeah, it certainly will be then as we head all the way up towards that final chicane. See, there's some potential moves and shakes being made in the background, but nearly 3 corners to go for Christian Grotter. Of course, he has been in the DTM Esports Championship. Wasn't this time around. Not sure if he even tried to qualify. But he's managed to come to the Community Cup round number 3 and assert his dominance. A very, very calm, composed race there. It's going to be a win by nearly 6 seconds. Across the line then for Christian Grotter. The Norwegian will pick up a victory. Well done to him. We've got a few people at the back there who have DNF'd. We've got in second position Daniel. Ribeiro finishes in third. I think that's good for him in terms of the Community Cup standings. He's the only driver who's really got 3 massive finishes. Evtushenko has put 2 really good results together in a row. Ree, Orban, Mackenberg, Romeo. We've then got Rush, Burkes, actually top 10, Lorenzo, Gounet. We've got there's a big spin in the background. Brandt. Oh, right in the final few corners. He's going to give up probably, there's 2 having an absolute nightmare behind him, luckily. He's going to get away with a couple of spots here, but I think he's just lost 4 positions. It was quite nearly 6 as Vigneroli and Muller, well, can only say they were trying to make love there through the final chicane. Didn't quite work out, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a bit messy near the back end. But today's Community Cup belongs to Christian Grotter. Congratulations to him.
Indeed it does, and we'll get confirmation of those race results. Christian Grotter taking the race win, 6 seconds behind Petter Daniel, which we didn't actually talk all that much about, but running a calm and collected race.
Yeah, absolutely. Ribeiro then finishes in third with Evtushenko in fourth. Ree and Orban take 5th and 6th. Of course, Orban was our winner from round number 1. Mackenberg and Romeo are 7th and 8th. We then got Rush and Burkes as your top 10. We then got Lorenzo and Gounet as your top 12. Sen and Tiefenbacher in 14th position. Percy, Jordan, Whitmers, Brandt, Muller, and Vigneroli as your top 20. Then we got Hochlock, Gretschel, Janssen, Torresani, Eickhoff. We got Ross Dance, who's the first driver of the DNS Ring, Santos Nas, and Pippert, also all DNFing. I love the fact that Pippert has actually managed to put his Instagram handle as his team name. That's quite clever. Fair play to him. But there you go. That's Community Cup race number 1. Oh, sorry, the race number 1 of today's broadcast in the book. So, yeah, Community Cup race done. And I think that was the most interesting, to be honest, in terms of the tyres. That's the first time we've really seen the tyres go off for the Community Cup, guys, and it did not disappoint.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I kind of want to see more of that in the actual DTM Esports event as well. It has a little more interesting element of it. Obviously, we'd still have that tyre degradation, but not to that degree because, I mean, they're just GT3 cars with all the assists imaginable. So even if the tyres do go off, we don't get much in terms of the rear traction braking too much. But yeah, it's Community Cup races. They're always a joy to watch. Obviously, this one had a little bit more of a dominant winner. That's because, I mean, the battle kind of ended before it began, in a sense, due to that incident with Ribeiro. But yeah, absolutely good appetizer for what's to come.
Yeah, it looks like we've got Petter Daniel waiting in the lobby for us to come and say hello to him. So I'll drag him in, actually. Let's drag in Petter. Petter Daniel, congratulations, mate, on a P2. We didn't see a lot of you on camera, to be honest, because you just kind of everyone else was deciding to spin around you. But very good performance, mate. Well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was really important for the qualification. So yeah, I set my lap in my last lap, so in the few last seconds. So yeah, I started from the 4th place and got to the 3rd place after the first corner. So it was very important, and yeah, I'm really happy for the 2nd place. I know that Thomas had a, let's say, bad luck with Christian, so I think he could win. But yeah, I'm very happy for 2nd place and also for Thomas for the 3rd one.
Well, I can tell you he didn't have bad luck with Christian. He made a mistake all on his own. Christian put a bit of pressure on. It was a really good battle today. His tyres just went. So let's talk about the tyres. Obviously, we were noticing 5 minutes ago that they were not in good shape for everybody. How was it for you?
Yeah, regarding tires, yeah, it was really difficult to save them because yeah, at the end it was yeah, really tricky. So I I tried to not to make a mistake and keep my pace to the end. And yeah, my tires were dead at the end. So fortunately, I survived. Yeah.
Well, fair play, mate. Well, congratulations today on your result, and hopefully we'll see you in round number 4.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, there we go. There was a chat with Petter Daniel. Let's have a quick chat then with our race winner, Christian Grotter. Congratulations, mate. How you feeling?
Thank you. I'm feeling good. A bit shaky and a bit sweaty, but other than that, pretty good.
Let's talk about DTM Esports, because I'm sure you were in it last season. Maybe I was wrong, but you were in the main dance last time round. What's the process been like this year?
Yeah, no, I did not take part in esports. I've never done it really, because I haven't been able to qualify.
Oh, I can't.
I think we might have been in the shootouts. It might have been in the shootouts. That's what we might be getting confused with, right?
Yes, I was in the shootouts last year.
There we go. Right, I knew I'd seen your name before, right, in the DTM Esports. How do you find having this Community Cup? Is it important for you to maybe get a bit of experience to maybe make it into DTM Esports in the future?
I treat it as just a fun race, really, but obviously I take it seriously because it's one of the few kind of serious races we have in RaceRoom. So it's a really great thing, I think.
And finally, let's talk about, you and Ribeiro were fighting at the front. You made that mistake into turn number 1 and lost about a second, 0.8 of a second. But then you made that move into the final corner, and Ribeiro just tried to stick with you a bit too much, but you got the job done. Just talk us through that lap or lap and a half.
Yeah, so the thing was, I noticed I could stay with Ribeiro with my DRS, even though he's normally a bit faster than me. So I was planning to attack him later in the race because I didn't want to keep defending against his DRS for too long. But just when I was thinking to start making moves, he first made a mistake in the chicane, and then he spun in the final corner. So that kind of made it pretty easy for me.
Wonderful stuff. Well, congratulations, mate. Hopefully we'll see you in round number 4 and string a couple of results together.
Yeah, very possible. Thank you.
See you, mate. Enjoy your weekend. So there we go, Connery. That is the Community Cup race done and dusted. Oh, boy. Right, now onto the main show, right? Now onto the main racing action. There are our drivers. They're all out there just chilling and spilling, waiting to get involved with qualifying. So if you've just joined, we've had our Community Cup race. You've not missed DTM Esports yet. This is the first race. The sprint race is up first off. 20-minute timed race with no pit stop, just a sprint. And then we do indeed have ourselves a 30-minute race with a mandatory pit stop in the middle of the race. 2 sets of 10-minute qualifying. But let's check out then the entry list for the season. So there are all the faces. Now let's put some names to those faces. So you can see all of your drivers up there. You've got Tim Yarshaw, Lucas Muller, Leonard Kripner, Gianmarco Fiducci, Vil Craivi. We've got Maulana, Emre Chihan, Lloyd Bidolf. We've got Turka Hakkinen, Christian Mitchell, Philip Dreys, We've got Ilka Drozovkov. We've got then Julian Kunze, Nicholas Huben, Michal Neg. We've got Enzo Filipao, Leonard Carton, Bence Banki, Max Pfeiffer, Florian Hasser, Christian Juhas, Patrick Jari, Bo Dixon, Luciano Whitver, Alessandro Ottaviani, Julian Klaffenberg, Kaj de Bruin, Peter Berliak, Isaac Price, Manuel Vera Carmona, and Maciej Milniak. Right, that's it. Right, let's head to the standings very, very quickly, just to show you who is leading and what names to be watching out for before we head into qualifying. So Isaac Price leads the way, 114 points. We've got Lucas Muller in second, 82 points behind. Just to put that into perspective, for race 1, the race winning points is 24 points. So Isaac Price has already got a sprint race worth of race a buffer, basically. Then the race 2 is worth 40 points for P1. So the points are almost doubled. Right, out to qualifying. I've received the message, Connery. We're ready to go.
Indeed, we are 10 minutes of qualifying for the first round, and it will also be 10 minutes of qualifying for the second race as well. So there's no reverse grid or grid is the same as the results from race 1 business going on here. We'll have 2 separate qualifying sessions to set the grid for our 2 races here today. So so a lot to look forward to, and actually qualifying sessions so far this season have been absolutely crazy with some of the lap times that have been pulled out of nowhere and how close everything has been as well. So I'd say some of these qualifying sessions are sometimes just as good as the races.
Yeah, but it does help. Last time out, we're at the Norisring, where in a 10-minute session you could do 400 laps. So yeah, people were always going to get close to each other, and it was going to chop and change. So yeah, this one should be a little bit different because it is around 1 minute 53 lap time we're looking at for these drivers. So yeah, it's a little bit shorter. Oh, I just realised we had the wrong lap record because they haven't raced. Yeah, in the GT3 era, they haven't raced at the GP layout. I believe they've only raced at the sprint. That's why. I think it's at 120. Okay. If let's put the track info up on screen just to make sure we can confirm that. But I'm pretty sure it's a 123 that we saw. No, 126. 126.667. So, yeah. So basically, the sprint layout is what they would usually use. So what we're missing out on is the hairpin in sector number 2, which takes you up. We're missing the hairpin and the Schumacher S's effectively. So yeah, today they're running the whole circuit, and actually it's very rare that the hairpin is actually open because that's what they use for training here at the Nürburgring. So yeah, every time I've worked for DTM at the Nürburgring, they never had that bit open. There's always a sprint variance. This is quite nice to see that we are using the full layout. 154.0, I'm expecting to see mid to low 53, to be honest. I think that we're going to find people improve very, very dramatically over the course of this session as Tim Yarshall starts another attempt, but he is currently pole position, joined by 3 other Porsches. We've got Muller, Krippner, and Dravozikov.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Porsche's doing very well in terms of banker laps at the moment, but we are going 100% going to see those lap times tighten up by the time this session is done. And it's interesting to see the Porsches do so well, given that it's been hit the most in terms of the balance of performance for this race day. So even despite that, seems to be quick at this early stage in qualifying, but we'll see if that holds out all the way to the end, however, as we have seen very crazy things in qualifying sessions so far this season. The Ferrari's doing, they're kind of expected to do a little bit better here at the Nürburgring, given that they don't have any of the any ballast or anything like that, so that they're actually just a stock Ferrari GT3. So perhaps they're going to be doing a little bit better here than we perhaps would otherwise expect. But yeah, everyone's sort of on their first sort of properly fast lap now, because that first one might have been a bit of a banker. That's why we're seeing so much green out there in terms of personal best sectors.
Oh, Bence Banki's just got up into 3rd position, which has just dropped Ottaviani down. We just have Florian Hasser also moved up into P5, who's just been a bit of a silent assassin so far this season. Has just been performing well every single week, just doing enough each and every week. Looks like Tim Yarshall might be about to go faster. I'm saying we're going to get quite a low 53. I'm not sure that will be the case here, because Yarshall is clear by 0.2 of a second. Massively clear here. So I think we will see a 53, and there it is, 53.9. But yeah, no one's really putting too much pressure on him. Leonard Krippner goes up into second. Fiducci up into fourth position, representing Hymo today in that purple car for the first time. They've got that livery in the sim, which is nice to see. But where is Isaac Price? He's only 13th position. He has improved. He's found a couple of tenths on his previous attempt, but he will not be happy with this. Everyone's had a bad round, bar Isaac Price. So yeah, he will not be happy. We know he's going to get a good start. He's going to fly off the start and gain a couple of positions, but yeah, he'd prefer to be a little bit higher up the order, I think.
Yeah, well, not a bad first sector. I mean,
not a great one either.
It's not a great one either, no. So it's, I mean, if he links it all up together here with pretty good sectors, I mean, he'll bump himself probably inside the top 10. But yeah, this is an interesting one for Isaac for certain. Maybe the car track combo just maybe not quite working out in his favor here just yet. We'll have to see what the rest of the sector times are for us to make a more informed judgment. Ooh, okay.
That's not good.
No.
That is not good at all. Bit of pressure on now. Yeah, Yarshall going faster and faster and faster. Ottaviani, of course, who raced against Isaac last time at the Norisring. They are, they're both quite far down the order, so not great for them. Maulana up to top 10. Dreys, of course, who was our star at Zandvoort earlier this season. Oh, he might be about to go quite fast here. He's currently in 9th position. He might move up into 5th. Well, he does. There we go. P5 for Philip Dreys. And that is a good performance so far, although we're about to see Tim Yarshall fly up across the timing beam now. There we go. And he is faster than himself, which is not a bad person to be chasing.
He said that you were looking for low 153s, and he's trying his best to do it. Although he does mess up a little bit off the exit of the chicane there, so he has to take the reset. But yeah, looking calm actually. That's surprisingly so, given, like I said, these qualifying sessions have been pretty bonkers for the rounds that we've had so far this season. Although Fiducci, just out of nowhere again, getting himself up into P2 in the Ferrari, disrupting the Porsche party at the very front of this grid at the moment.
Yeah, there we go. So Gianmarco Fiducci in that Hymo Ferrari is up into P3. I think we just saw Max Pfeiffer move up into P15 there as well, which again pushes Isaac Price down into P18. I think we have to go on the board of Isaac Price here and figure out exactly what he's only going to have this attempt. So if he balls this up, then we're in trouble. We're in big trouble if you're in Isaac Price's camp. So let's stay on board with him then, see if he can nail this lap time. Down in towards turn number 3, you can hook the inside of that curb there with certain cars. Looks like he's avoiding doing that as we now come through turn number 4 and 5. Now down towards turn number 6 as Kunze moves up into 8th position. Keeping the car as far right as possible to open up turn number 6 is a very tough. I think these are the 2 toughest corners on this whole entire circuit. You run out onto the AstroTurf there on the exit of turn number 8. Now we run down towards 9, which is the hairpin. Now we're about to see the sector times that we needed for Isaac Price to really move up the order. That looks pretty tidy. So I'm not sure if it looks overly
register
quick.
Oh,
okay. Well, I'm sure that must be an issue within the game, because Isaac's not aborted the lap. He would have aborted the lap instantly, I think. So I think this is probably good still.
Hey, he's gone so fast, he's broken the timing. There we go.
Yeah. Isaac has gone so fast, he's broken the timing. He's come dressed as a green Power Ranger as well, so this should be absolutely wonderful. Heading up towards that final chicane then. So through here, it's absolutely flat out, loud pedal all the way. Now into the brakes. There we go. It was purple through sector number 1. Sector number 2 is not brilliant, unfortunately, but he's not really chasing pole position. We know that. It's about how high you can get up the order. Currently, he's P19. He's on the 10th row of the grid through the Coca-Cola curve. And I think he's in a bit of trouble here, Connery. We're about to come across the line. It will be an improvement. But how high up the order would he go? Only 2 positions. Oh, dear. This is a tough day in the office for Isaac Price. Luckily, he's very capable in race trim, so I'm sure he'll make up some positions, but he's made it very difficult for himself. And the likes of Tim Yarshall, the likes of Lucas Muller, who's currently 2nd in the championship, will be looking at that thinking, there's a big chance here today.
Yeah, big chance. And I got to say, Isaac Price, after his lap done, just sort of holding his head, or rather fingers through his hair, perhaps a little bit stressed about the fact that he's starting all the way down in P17 here today at the Nürburgring. That's our championship leader at this stage of the 2025 season, having to drive from mid-pack to try to get through to the front of the field.
Certainly is, yeah. Big. Well, again, if he can figure it out for race 2, it's not such a bad thing, considering the points are almost doubled for race number 2. But, yes, our championship leader is in a little bit of trouble here, ladies and gentlemen. So this is going to be a battle for him. But the drivers at the front are not going to be too worried about that. It's Tim Yarshall, who is on pole position and looking to become the first driver this season to win 2 races in the season. It's been so spread out across this whole championship. We've had Isaac Price win a race. We have had Tim Yarshall win a race. We've had Philip Drees win a race. And we've had Ottaviani win a race. So are we about to see the first person win 2? Let's check out the championship standings just before they go out onto the grid, so you can sort of see, what this qualifying has, or how this qualifying will affect in terms of championship. So Isaac Price, of course, leads by quite a big margin, but the likes of Lucas Muller, Tim Yarshall, Florian Hasser, they are all in the top 5 in qualifying. Ottaviani's a little bit further back, but quite far up the order compared to Isaac Price. Philip Drees is in the top 5. Krippner is ahead. Fiducci is P2. Turka Häkkinen's a bit further back. Bent Banki's up there. So this could be the week where the championships gets turned completely on its head. Right, here we go. Time for race number 1. Oh, Connery. Full formation lap to go here. Any predictions? It does look like the Porsches are very good here. Let's not get that twisted. The Ferrari also looks very, very strong as well. Florian Hasser's the lead Lamborghini, albeit there's only a couple of them in the champion, or 3 of them on the road. Anyway, what are your predictions here for this one?
So, I want to sort of continue on the discussion a little bit with Price. I mean, we've seen him get very, 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 very good starts in pretty much every race so far this season. So I don't think he'll be down in P17 for long. Let's just say that. However, he is in a bit of a danger area, as he's in that sort of cluster where if there's any first lap problems or things like that, he's going to be right there in and amongst it, which... you can capitalize on it, or you can get caught up in it yourself. In terms of the front of the fields, well, I'm looking at that purple Ferrari and just going, Fiducci is going to have a big, big task on his hands here, because he is surrounded by their esports teammates. So that is going to be a big, big issue for him. I think unless Fiducci doesn't gets himself a good start here, he's going to be hounded relentlessly by Krippner and Muller, who, if anything, even if they don't get past, will try and cause Yarshall to try and get a bit of a gap at the front of the field and allow him to run away. So this is going to be very, very tricky to not see anything other than a Dur Esports car win this one. But we'll have to see.
You mean Falcon Sim Racing, just to clarify?
Oh, Falcon Sim Racing. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting my liveries sort of
ironically
in my head.
Ironically, they've all raced for Dur Esports at some point.
That's exactly why I see the names. I'm like, oh, there's a but exactly, yes.
So Falcon Sim Racing at the front there. Again, there's no big clues or anything on their livery, so it's
no, it's not a clue whatsoever.
They've not made it too obvious.
No, it's not been like a couple of races already this season where I could have learned,
I am going to throw a real bold prediction out there. I think Isaac Price is going to get a top 5 in this race. I really do.
Really?
I just think you need on this grid with this many cars and how close they are. I think in a race the car doesn't matter as much, and I think experience means absolutely everything. So you've got Yarshall out there, you've got Muller out there, Sheehan, Bent Banki, Ottaviani, and then the likes of Isaac Price. I think he's got a big chance here to get up into that top 5. Anyway, we're about to find out, so, who knows. If I'm wrong, we'll never mention it again. Round the final corner we go. Tim Yarshall will take them away. Fiducci will be in second position, so they're waiting, of course, for the race director to let them go. Oh, we get a lovely view here. This is brilliant. There we go, about to come across the start-finish line, and we're off, and we're running, and I tell you what, it's a very good start from all of the Porsche. Although the Ferrari second phase seems to be equally as good. Where is that papaya McLaren, though? When it's about 17 wide, there's a big hole he can shoot into, and is he going to go for it? Isaac Price needs to use his experience. Ferrari gets across him, but at the front end here, I think Fiducci is going to take the lead of this race, you know. Is he clear, though? He's not. He's not. Tim Yarshall just about keeps enough of a car up his inside, forcing the issue. And as we come through turn number 3, it's almost impossible for the Ferrari to make anything happen. As Yarshall makes a big mistake here, and now Fiduci will pinch him onto the apex, will get the run on the exit, and the Ferrari is about to take the lead here. That is something I did not expect to see. Yarshall with the mistake, the reigning champ with the mistake. Fiduci picks up all the pieces, says thank you very much, and off on his merry way he will go.
Gotta be mistake on cold tyres there. It's so treacherous through the arena section for the first time as we see a car with a big off there. I think it's Patrick Zari. Yeah, it is Zari out in towards the gravel there. Big problems on the early starts here. There's an actual DTM Esports car sending it on Ben Tabanki there as Emre Cihan looks to, we're getting all my drivers fixed up. Excuse me, Ben Tabanki looking to try and make progress. Excuse me.
Yeah, Ottaviani there just about holding on in the BMW against the Esports cars there. Takes a very tight line in defensive mode at the end of sector number 2. Isaac Price, my prediction of the top 5, well, he's down in 18, so it's not the strongest of starts, but he's only 5 seconds back. But Fiduci, fair play to him. If he can get a really good exit out the final corner and defend on this second lap down towards turn number 1, there is a real big opportunity here that we might see a 5th winner out of 5.
That would be crazy, wouldn't it? But it's a big ask. He has no friends at the very front of this field here. It's, well, he doesn't, he has friends in general, but definitely not at the sharp end of this field in this race, though. It's a whole bunch of Falcon cars behind him, and they won't be hanging around either, as he needs to try to establish a gap now. He has to try and break that slipstream somehow to try and make himself a little bit more safe. He can afford to burn up the tyres a little bit, perhaps, because it's such a short event, a sprint race, and try and get away from them. I think that's the kind of self-preservation that he has to do now.
Yeah, he's friends with William Chadwick, he's friends with Charlie Crossland, he's friends with Darren McCormack. Oh, who needs enemies when you've got friends like those? Crikey. But he is
I'm just wondering if someone's going to take that, clip that out of context, saying Fiduci has no friends, and then just drop it in whatever Discord that he's in.
Well, you said it, not me. A bit further back than one more Emre Cihan.
No context.
No, exactly that. Who's actually made a move past both of the esports cars. He's now ahead of Ben Spanky and Florian Hasser. So that just came out of nowhere. It's a fair play to him. We didn't quite catch that, but yeah, he's making his way forward. And again, that just shows how strong this Porsche is. In terms of championship leader watch, where is Isaac Price
17th
in all of this? Oh, he's moved up 1, so he has gained 1 position. But I think he'll still be aiming for a top 10. 15 minutes, 40 seconds left to go on the clock. But yeah, not a good start. And I think the McLaren might just be a bit of a dog around here, unfortunately, because Isaac just didn't look too happy. Again, his lap times didn't look, or his laps on board didn't look like untidy. They just didn't look fast. They just looked very safe.
Yeah, there's definitely one word for it. It's, yeah, I mean, you're going to have these races, unfortunately, when it comes to, it comes to a season's worth of efforts. The balance of performance may not go your way a particular track, or if, or you just might not gel well with a particular track. That might also happen as well. But for Price, he knows how to recover from these sorts of situations. He's been sim racing for God knows how long at this point, and been in many a situation like this one. So he'll know how to manage his emotions and just try and get his head down and get the best result possible to try and make something of this event. But right now, it's not looking stellar, shall we say.
It's not looking stellar at all, you're not wrong. Yeah, Tim Yarshall, Gianmarco Fiduci, something I noticed in the final corner there is there's not a big gap between him and Yarshall, but he's not defending thin air. He took a nice wide entry into the Coca-Cola curve. Yarshall took a bit more of a tighter angle there, and maybe to sort of get into his head thinking, I will send it at some point. But he's not defending fresh air, so that to me says he's comfortable. You'll find drivers when they're sort of half a second ahead, they'll just defend every corner and just be slow out of every corner, but he's just not. So Fiduci, as much as he hasn't won this season, does look very comfortable out there in the lead, so fair play.
Yeah, very, very comfortable. It's, I mean, he's got about half a second now, hasn't he, over Yarshall, and looking to try and stretch his legs. And I don't think Yarshall has the response here. I mean, Fiducci has the fastest lap of the race here at the moment, which is a 1:55.016. Although Yarshall is close to that in his own fastest lap, he's only about half a tenth away. But yeah, that Ferrari. Bright purple Ferrari, and I gotta say, purple is my favorite color, so that gets extra points from me. It is looking very, very good at the moment, and I mean, I said at the start of the race he needed a good start if he would have any chance, and well, he did just that, and now he definitely has an opportunity to be our 5th different race winner.
Again, he's just taking a really nice line into that final corner, not defending fresh air. Again, Yarshall's very, very close. Yarshall might even get a run here to potentially make a move, but it'd be, you know, we saw from our Community Cup race that making a move on the inside here is very difficult because you just can't get that power down. You see there, just covers off the inside and just sort of a car's width or car's width lane to the inside, not defending the ultra inside line, and just doing enough right now. Yarshall, though, seems to have found a bit of form at this point, seems to be very comfortable as well, and these two are actually extending over everybody else. But you know what, it's Tim Yarshall behind you, but at some point he will send it.
Yeah, it's just a matter of when, not if. I think as far as the battle for the race lead is concerned. So Fiducci just does have to keep that in mind, and also if there's going to be one track where a big lunge is going to happen, it will be this one, right down in towards turn number 1. So it's, definitely things, maybe not for now, but for maybe with a couple of laps to go, if they're in the same sort of distance between each other as they are right now, that might be a circumstance that arises. But yeah, that's all for the future. And actually, while they are pulling away from the rest of the fields, you know, the field are kind of still keeping touch a little bit, so they can't really afford to have any extended side-by-side battle because then not everyone will be tripping over themselves. And actually, that would arguably benefit Yarshall, given how many teammates are behind him.
Yeah, 100%. You've got Lucas Muller, who is currently 2nd in this championship, remember, finding himself in 4th spot. So in terms of how many points he would get, he would amass himself 16 points today. Tim Yarshall would actually gain 4 points on him, and ultimately Isaac Price would only be scoring 2, so there'd be he still wouldn't lose the championship lead by any stretch, right? But it's a big chunk being taken out, and if it was to be the same result in race number 2, then we would have a new championship leader. It would either be Yarshall or it would be Muller, but Leonard Krippner holding on there in P3 as well as we head down in towards turn number 1. We've got just over 11 minutes to go. Remember, this is a full-on sprint race for this race. They do not have to pit during this one. And then in the second race, it's 10 minutes longer, and they will have to do a mandatory pit stop and change all 4 tyres. The points are almost worth double for race number 2 as well. So plenty of action coming your way.
Indeed, we're riding on board with Ilya Javosikov here at the moment, the Swiss driver that's embroiled in this leading pack as well. Also in Porsche, so again, Porsche's doing very, very well here today. But he's in that awkward spot where he's, you know, behind this lead grouping. He's behind a whole gaggle of Falcon cars. You know, so what is his approach for the rest of this race now, given that he kind of has a brick wall of teammates ahead of him?
Well, he's not close enough right now to be worried about that. He's actually got to be more worried about the car behind him of Alessandro Ottaviani, considering what we saw from Ottaviani in terms of his pace at the end of the race at the Norisring. You've got to be wary of him. He seems to be able to really get the tyres to the end in good nick and be very strong. So for me, he won't be looking forward here. The gap's too big. We've got Auto House in Zero Force. There is a German stream, guys, as well, with German commentary if you want to go over and watch that, just to let you know. I have no idea what you're saying, but yeah, welcome, have fun, enjoy yourself.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying myself as well. So I mean, it's a pretty slow race in terms of action so far, but there's definitely the ever-looming threat of big lunges and big moves being made, especially as Fiducci and Yarshall are remaining this close together.
Oh, he didn't? Okay, well, yeah, that's a warning there. I think if Yarshall's any closer, there's going to be an absolute send into that final corner now. So at this point, Fiducci might need to start defending. He moved over early to defend last time. This should get later and later and later. And that's early again, so expect Yarshall Well, he's going to miss out here big time. He's going to lose a lot of time on the exit as well. He's going to get just nestled out. Oh, no, he's found an overlap. To be fair, it didn't look like he was going to be able to get that car stopped. He has got it stopped. It's beautifully done so far. No grip out there on the curb, and Tim Yarshall will take the lead of this race. He runs deep, though, through turn number 4. You can see the smile on Gianmarco Finucci's face, but he is absolutely furious. It was a great move, though. Nothing wrong done by Yarshall. Aggressive, absolutely, but just below the line for me. Nice work.
Yeah, and you can see how he covered off that response into turn 3 that Finucci used on the first lap to try and cut back underneath as Yarshall pushed wide. So great awareness, great adaptability on the part of Yarshall there to not make the same mistake as he did on lap 1 and allow that Ferrari another overlap coming, you know, through onto the outside of turn 4. So good awareness there from Yarshall to maintain this race lead, or rather regain this race lead, and now with 8 minutes left remaining, can he hold on to it? Does Finucci have any aggression to show us for the final half?
Yeah, realistically, you know, you look at the Falcon Esports team here, they've got every single card that they need to make that royal flush. I don't know why we're talking poker here, but here we are. Ultimately, you know, all they need right now is Krippner to just send one into turn number 1. Doesn't necessarily need to make the overtake, but it just protects Yarshall out in the lead and gives him a bit of a gap. Not that he needs that protection right now. He's actually managed to get himself a 7/10 of a second lead. But yeah, right now, they can almost guarantee it with that bit of insurance. Just let Krippner try and go for it. He knows that Lucas, you know, it'll almost be a case of Muller would be like, right, I'm not going to make an overtake on you. If you send it, if you guarantee our teammate P1 here, and you know, I'm going to make sure I look after you getting that podium spot. Doesn't look like he's quite close enough this time round. Actually runs a little bit deep, but Finucci, yeah, is just definitely not. He's not keeping up with Yarshall. So Yarshall now with that clear air, really showing his pace. And he's been patient. He's been really patient. He lost the lead, pole position, lost the lead on the first lap. From a mistake, actually, ironically, in this corner here that we've just gone through. But yeah, waited about 13 minutes, retook the lead, and is just streaking away. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, it is. This is like this is last year's Yarshall, isn't it? That's kind of what that's kind of what it feels like.
It's a good point.
I mean, it took a couple of races for him to get going here in this season. But
what's the difference, though, Connery? He's qualified well. He hasn't been qualifying perfectly, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, the fact that, you know, he as soon as he qualifies well, you know, he doesn't seem to panic. But we've seen time and time again, when he is a bit further down the order, he panics, he makes mistakes, he drives a little bit too aggressively, doesn't understand the driving style of the other driver sometimes maybe, and sort of, just is a little bit too aggressive. But yeah, once you give him a clear bit of track, he's a very good front runner.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's extended the gap up now to 6/7 of a second, and it doesn't look like that's going to be slowing down anytime soon. So, yeah, looking very, very good right now for Yarshall, our previous champion here in the DTM Esports season. Speaking of, well, championship contenders at least, how's Isaac Price doing? Well, he's 16th now.
Yeah, he's making up a few points here again in terms of the points haul he would get for 16th position. He would get 3, so every position he gains from now is an extra spot, and with there being sort of 6 cars ahead of him, you know, you hope that they start battling for position if you're in Isaac Price's shoes, and maybe you make a position. Where is Lolo Vera on the grid? We've got some Vera fans in the chat. Always good to check out where...
There's Manuel Vera.
There we go. Manuel Lolo Vera finds himself down. What position is he in? P24 right now. So for all of you Lolo fans out there, there he is.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah, just sort of running on his own sum here at the moment. He's got 2 cars ahead, Klaffenbuck and Carton, looking to get pretty close together, nose to bumper, but otherwise sort of quite an uneventful race, I think, for Vera here at the moment. But yeah, at the very front of the field, it's been, I mean, relatively single file. It's probably fair to say, and amongst these drivers, with Yarshall trying to pull away, although he's still 6/7 of a second ahead at the moment. I don't know if he's just backed off just to try to manage the gap, or if this is a response from Finucci, but it's going to take a lot in the final 4 and a bit minutes for Finucci to try to retake that race lead. But not impossible, but improbable.
He's built a bit of a gap, though, to P3 in Krippner, so there's an opportunity now for him to be very aggressive. and empty the tank now in terms of tyre wear. If you've got anything left on those tyres, now is the time to just go out there and attack Yarshall. You'll have at least one attempt before you are under pressure from the guys behind as it stands. The gap is coming down. So let's see what the gap is as they exit the final corner. That's probably going to be the best way of figuring this out. So Yarshall in through the final chicane. It's the slower of the two variants. So we now run up towards that Coca-Cola curve. And yeah, that Porsche looks so planted, by the way. Into the braking zone once again. Nice wide entry there for the Ferrari. Gap's about 0.5 of a second now. It does stretch out again, of course, the Constantino effect taking place. Now, as we run down towards turn number 1, the gap is about 0.6 of a second. So Yarshall is managing it nicely. And if anything, Leonard Krippner has found something in that final sector because the gap has come down from 3rd to 2nd.
All very similar lap times. 54.501 for Yarshall, a 54.448 for Ducci. So he was a 1/10 of a second, or almost a 1/10 of a second faster on that last lap. But it seems like through this arena section where that Mercedes, not Mercedes, where that Porsche can really leverage its mid-corner speed, that seems to be where a lot of the gap is coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's check out the championship leader then down in P16 behind Turkka Hakkinen. Is he about to find any positions? No, he just kind of keeping up with this group ahead. But it's not really the charge that I was expecting from Isaac, to be completely honest. And yeah, it's a day that may be pivotal in this championship run. Of course, comes into today with a massive championship lead as a driver that's not had a bad round all season long. This is his first bad race. And whether he can figure that out for race number 2 remains to be seen. But again, he's just not able to outbrake that Porsche in front. There's only really one line because of the camber through that hairpin. Is there an opportunity for him to make a run through the S's here and then into the left-hander, maybe send one up the inside? The Porsche just looks super planted, running on the exit of the S's. Again, it's just not quite close enough, although we see a Porsche send one up the inside of a Ferrari a bit further up the road. That is Julian Kunze and Pfeiffer. This might check the field up a little bit here, and it could bring a lot of other cars into play. Yeah, we've now got, who is that just behind him? Is that Mihail Neg? We've got Philip Powell and then Hakkinen all closing in. So on the dying embers of this race, there might be some opportunities to see a big send up the inside from the Porsche. Are we about to see that move being made? Julian not able to get it stuck. Pfeiffer lives to fight another day. And actually, all of a sudden, Michal Neg's getting involved. His 3 wide is coming towards the Coca-Cola curve. Michal Neg in the Ferrari is going to say, thank you very much. You can go for the move. If you're not going to get it done, I'm not going to be able to make it stick. As we see a potential move for the race lead there. We've got a battle for P2. We're on to the final lap of today's race, and Verducci has found some pace. And I'll tell you what, he might find the overlap on the exit turn 2. He's not quite close enough. He's going to go for a send, decides to back out of it, maybe forcing Yarshall into a bit of a mistake. And this, Connery, this is absolutely not over.
I'm not sure where all that gain time come from, but Verducci will take it anyway. 1 minute left in this race. As you know, you got to think about your next opportunities, perhaps. Maybe a lunge into Dunlop, maybe up in towards the chicane for the final portion of the lap, or stick it on the inside into the Coca-Cola curve, who knows. But Verducci, his biggest overtaking opportunity is pretty much over. There are other places at this track where you can get it done, but it's infinitely trickier.
Ottaviani has got a position on Drovotsikov, of course. We know Ottaviani is just the tyre whisperer at this point of the series. Seems to be very strong near the end of the race. So yeah, it's again, no big surprise there. But it's all about the front 2 here. Can Tim Yarshall hold on and become the first driver of the season to pick up 2 wins during the 2025 season? Or are we about to see, oh, who just went off the track there? Well, was that someone just completely driving? No, it looks like everyone's okay. Or are we about to see Gianmarco Verducci become the 5th different winner of the season? He needs a mistake here out of the final chicane to become that 5th different winner. And Tim Yarshall was the #1 in his car. He's not used to making mistakes. That's why he is our reigning champion at the moment. Up towards the Coca-Cola curve we come. I think Verducci may have just run a little bit too deep there. Tim Yarshall then enters the final corner. He now exits the final corner, and he will become our first 2-time race winner of the season. Verducci did throw everything at him, but it wasn't quite enough. Krippner finishes in 3rd. We've got Muller in 4th. Ottaviani did get top 5 in the end. Trafozikov in 6th. And what about Isaac Price? Where is he? Is there a fight in the background from our championship leader? No, doesn't look like he was able to make anything happen there. It's going to be P16 for our championship leader. So great news for people who are neutral out there. It means the championship is going to become a lot tighter. Bad news for Isaac Price fans. But The day already, so far, should I say, belongs to Tim Yarshall with a victory there. Congratulations to him. I'm sure he is very happy indeed. Here is your official results then. Tim Yarshall, P1. Gianmarco Fiducci finishes in second. Leonard Krippner in third. We then got Lucas Muller in fourth position. Alessandro Ottaviani in fifth. We then got Trafozikov in sixth. Emre Cihan and Florian Hasser as your top 8. Bent Banki and Maulana as your top 10. Max Pfeiffer, Michal Neg, Filipao Kunze, Hakkinen, Price and Bo Dixon. His best performance of the season so far in 17th. We've got Nicholas Huben in 18th, Luciano Whitver and Lloyd Bidolf as your top 20. We then got Berliak, Claffen, Burke, Carton, Vera, Juhas, Craivi, Jari, Mackenberg, De Bruin. Christian Mitchell is the first of our DNFs. Then we head to Philip Dreys, of course, because that's big. That's huge for the championship. Philip Dreys is a DNF as well. Oh boy, that was very, very interesting indeed there, Connery. This race number 1 done. Race number 1 is only 20 minutes long. The second race is 30 minutes with a pit stop, which should make it even more interesting. Gianmarco Fiducci, I think, needed one more lap there, and he would have become a race winner.
Yeah, absolutely. We were focusing on that mid-pack battle when Yarshall all of a sudden lost about half a second worth of time. So I'm not sure if that was a mistake or anything, but either way, it made things a lot tighter there towards the end than we were perhaps expecting, giving Fiducci that one slight opportunity to try and make a challenge of it. But like you said, I think he needed that one more because he was relatively close coming into the final turn to be able to try and make that move, or at least a more solid attempt at that move. But it's always the case in racing. If I had just one more lap, that's probably the most common statement or comment used by a second-place driver at the end of a race.
No, absolutely. As much as we say he needed one more lap, who's to say Tim Yarshall wouldn't have defended that as well? Right, well, this is DTM Esports, but DTM is about to kick off for the 2025 season as well. And we've got a little video here to show you a bit about ticket information. And there's also another video that will show you about how cool of an idea they have with the Circuit Safari. It'll show you exactly what the Circuit Safari is and your opportunity to get involved with that this season.
He's the champion, Mirko Bortolotti. Oh, fantastic move. Oh, look at that.
We are ready to launch.
Ready to race. Jetzt hier ein richtiges Feuerwerk abfeuern.
Outstanding.
Push, voll attack.
Die DTM live erleben. Jetzt Tickets sichern unter dtm.com.
So there you go, ladies and gentle cars. We have got tickets on sale right now. DTM.com if you want to go get yourself involved in the season. I can tell you right now, DTM is one of the most accessible racing series in the world. They have got loads of support series, but you can go and meet the drivers. You can go do pit lane walks. And everybody is so friendly. It really is an experience to go out there and watch it. And also with the track safari as well, which is something entirely new. They had it last season, but it looks absolutely ace. You're going to be out there in a bus and you'll be watching the cars go around and overtake you. Some of your favorite drivers out there on circuit. So again, head to DTM.com and you can get your tickets now. It starts at the end of April. So not long to go before 2025 season does indeed start. But back to DTM Esports 2025. We are here at the Nürburgring. We've got the second race of 2 coming your way right now. Again, we've just had a sprint race, which was 20 minutes long. Now we've got a 30 minutes timed race with a mandatory pit stop in the middle. In the mandatory pit stop, they have to change all 4 tyres as well. We have seen strategy being used for people coming in early and again, getting the jump and having better tyres for a couple of laps. We've seen cars come in really late and ultimately get the benefit of having better tyres right near the end of the race. And we've seen it work both ways. So it's really, really exciting how this series does indeed work, or how this second race does indeed work. 40 seconds left to go before we head into qualifying. Connery, what will be the main differences between race 1 and race 2?
A less sense of urgency, a little bit perhaps, because obviously we have that pit stop to factor in, right? So it's not a direct race all the way to the end, right? We have that little bit of strategy to really think about. So this is where the team game comes in a little bit more as well, which may help Falcon a little bit more than some other teams, given that all of their drivers tend to qualify in about the same spot, where they can play around with it a little bit with exact laps of where they're pitting and try and figure out what the best strategy is, because it's not necessarily, tires and fuel or whatever. It's about where do you come out in relation to other people. Are you able to get that clear air to put in some good laps, or are you going to come out in terms of in a lot of traffic? That's the main element that you play around with the strategy here, rather than the actual stop itself, right? So we may see at the early stages track position be a little bit less important unless you are a driver that is caught out of position by the qualifying, like, for example, Isaac Price in the first race, as he tried to press forward to no avail, but tried to press forward in that race to try and gain the track position. But if you get a good qualifying, I mean, it's just a matter of holding position, getting those stops done, and then seeing where you're at in the second half of the race. So it's a little bit more cerebral than the first races tend to go, and we see some interesting little positions gained or lost during the pit stops here. But in terms of a massive race-changing element, I mean, it can still happen. It's not something we've seen so far over the course of this season in terms of a strategy call, but there is the opportunity for something to change quite a bit in terms of the pit stops if the opportunity arises.
There you go, chaps and chapettes. That is an explanation there from Connery. Love to hear that. All right, where are you watching from around the world then, chat? I'm watching all of the chats that are watching right now. Let me know where you're watching from around the world. Maybe you have a favourite driver, and if you don't, I'll pick one for you. We're on board with Vil Cravey, and yeah, this is not, unfortunately, for him, a very good lap so far. So Gladius competitions. So we come up towards the final sector of this circuit, just a couple of corners to go, and then across the timing beam. But 8 minutes 30 seconds on the clock. And to be honest, Connery, what I noticed from the first qualifying session was how important having a banker time was. The same sort of 5 drivers were up there after sort of a couple of minutes, and they all improved obviously, but they had the license to go out there and absolutely send it around the circuit because they had a pretty good banker in.
Yeah, absolutely. It seemed like those first laps mattered a huge deal. Not that there's really any track evolution over the course of a session. It's just that maybe a lot of drivers just felt like their first attempts, they were pretty good first attempts. And weren't really able to improve throughout the session. But as we've seen the first couple of lap times come in now, we are seeing Muller back up there. Philip Drace up into second place. Hakkinen actually putting in a decent lap, up in third at the moment. However, the fastest time is still a 1:54.2, so there's still a lot of room for improvement here compared to race or qualifying number 1, where Yarshall put in a 53.8 or 53.9 as the fastest time. So there's still a couple of tenths available. Yeah,
0.3 of a second. You would imagine the time. Ooh, there's a big spin there. That's definitely not quick. Yeah, you would imagine. Oh, there's a 54.1. You imagine the time would be faster than the first qualifying session, just due to them doing more reps and being more comfortable. But that's not always the case. Sometimes the pressure can really ramp up. If you've already got a really good result for Tim Yashi, you should feel pretty relaxed. But there's an added pressure of, well, I'm expected to do well in this race number 2, and it's worth double the points. So if you don't perform well in this qualifying session, you will feel like one's got away from you. So that adds an added set of pressure that you do not have in race number 1.
Yeah, it is. And if you had a poor qualifying session, like, for example, the Papaya McLaren of Isaac Price, then you're really going to have a lot of pressure on this second qualifying session. I mean, around about P12 here at the moment. Let's see if there's anything left in the tank here as far as the price is concerned. But if this is another poor qualifying session for him, then unfortunately, is going to be losing a lot of points over the course of this this event. I mean, I know someone in the DTM YouTube chat did say the McLaren's meant to be strong here, but we're not seeing the evidence of that here
I think
today.
they're being sarcastic. That was his race engineer, to be fair. So
Okay, cool.
yeah, I think it might be more
Cool.
sarcasm than anything. I didn't want to say anything at the time, but I don't think he was throwing Isaac under the bus there by saying the McLaren's really strong. But
I
my
did,
boy,
I
really
did think
thinks
it was questionable comment, but yeah, it's maybe I'm too naive. That's
I think he's getting the most out of it because his lap time is already where it was last time. He did a 54.6 last time out, so it's like he's hit his I don't know, optimum time possible with the car. As Lucas Muller is going faster right now in the first and in the second sector. So this is good enough to be second as it stands. But ironically, he's already in second position. So he needs to find about 600ths of a second, maybe 700ths to put himself on pole position. And he'll be watching his teammate, Tim Yarshall, go out there and get a victory and close that gap and actually probably overtake him in the championship. And he'll be thinking, do you know what? I fancy being a DTM Esports champion. And that is exactly how to respond. A 54-0. And Lucas Muller has put his Falcon Sim Racing car on provisional pole.
It is Falcon 1, 2, 3 at the moment, with Philip Drace there for Norisring down in P4. All Porsches inside the top 4. Otto Viani getting himself into the top 5 here for RHG Esports in the BMW, being the meat in a Porsche. Well, he's I guess I was going to say there's a lot of my broadcasting folks say you don't name a sandwich by what's the bread, right? So we would normally say this is a Porsche sandwich, right? But actually it's a BMW sandwich because the BMW is the meat and that's what you call a sandwich by.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely spot on. Both the same thickness of bread either side for Porsche. So that's very snug there for Ottaviani. Not really a lot of room to breathe. And yeah, where is Fiducci? That's really... Is he going... Oh, well, he's up to P7. But I think he needs to be right up there in sort of top 4 to have a chance of winning this race. We didn't see that a lot of overtakes, did we, in race number 1?
No.
So you need, as much as strategy can play a big part here with a bigger circuit, you can find yourself an opening a bit earlier if you do try to come into the pits as early as possible. I still think you need to qualify a little bit higher there. I will say this, Isaac Price has gone faster than what he did in the previous qualifying session, and he still finds himself only in 14th position. So it's just going to be one of those days where he'll want to get out of here and move on to round 4.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he has a helpful points buffer coming into this this race day. I mean, he was 114 over 82. That's so he had 114 points. Muller had 82. So there's a helpful points buffer, but that'll be all eaten up today, especially if Muller. I mean, he's gone purple through sector 2 again as Muller, so he's looking very, very hot in terms of this qualifying. And let's see if he's able to improve his lap time here, because it was a 154.084. last time, and now it's a 154.066.
Yeah, they're still not hitting the 0.9s, the 53.9s that we saw. Oh, I say 53.9s. There was 1 9.
Locking up.
It was Tim Yarshall. I'll tell you what, that might have just ruined his lap there. He was faster.
Yeah.
He was actually faster through sector number 1. Let's just... well, hold on. Philip Dre's maybe about to improve. Bence Banky goes up to 4th position. Philip Dre's aborts his lap. Let's go on board with Krypton then. See what his sector 2 time is. How much did that affect him, that lock up there? It should have taken a bit of time off of him. But it depends on how late, really, he was braking. So we head then through this right-hander. We're about to cut the timing beam up the hills, coming down. We're going to sweep right and then up the hill. We'll cut the timing beam. And then sector 3 is quite a short sector here at the Nürburgring. So here we go. We're about to see it. Across the middle sector. Oh, it's faster. My God, it is faster. So how much time is there in this lap time for Krypton? He will not have enough opportunity here as well, which is, I think, going to be a bit frustrating for him. If he doesn't nail pole position now, he'll believe that he had a lot of time in the bank considering that lockup in towards the hairpin. Across the line then for Leonard Krypton. We've already got a 1, 2, 3 for Falcon, and it's just going to be 3rd. He's going to be annoyed there. I think the time was in that hairpin. That lockup has killed him. It was actually 2nd, so he did get the 2nd position in the end. Otto Viani has moved up into 3rd. Oh, hold on. Whoa. Where's Tim Yarshall? I think
Where is Yarshall?
Yarshall's disconnected from the server.
Right. I don't see him on my entry list.
No, he's gone. He's disconnected from the server. He might be able to get back in, and his time would still count, but he needs to get back in. He needs to
Yeah.
get back in within this 1 minute margin here, otherwise he is in trouble.
Xian going quickly.
Oh, Qian is going very, very quickly. This could be a massive jump up the order. Oh, it is a huge jump. Gains 0.2 of a second, moves up to third spot. But the big story here is, unfortunately for Tim Yarshall, our race 1 winner, he is not in the server right now. Isaac Price up to 12th position, by the way. So he has improved. Turka Hakkinen is in 10th position. If this is not quick, this is not going to be quick, is it? It might be faster, a little bit faster. Yeah, a little bit, but not really an improvement. Oh, here we go. So Isaac Price, can he find half a tenth to move up 1 position? He needs a full 10th of a second to even move up to a top 10. It has to be a magic lap, really, I think. And he does move up 1 position. So he's into P11 as Kunze is about to come across the line. Does he improve on his time? No. No, the answer is no. Tim Yarshall is not back in the session. So Tim Yarshall, our reigning champ, the first driver to win 2 races this season, is not in the session. That is big drama. That is, and as much as Leonard, Krippner, and Muller are his teammates, you know, I'm not gonna say that they're, you know, happy with him not being in the server.
This is Yarshall.
But it makes a big difference for their championship hopes as well. You see he's a very despondent. He's not happy what's going on here. But I think this might be his round 3 over due to a disconnection.
Yeah.
So we've seen it a couple of, you know, in sim racing, your connection is basically like a real life engine. If your connection drops out, then unfortunately, you know, it's like a mechanical error or a mechanical issue with a real car.
I don't even think it was connection, really, because his video feed is still fine. And it never dropped, because I was looking at it. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. Interesting one indeed.
Yep, it's, yeah, that's part of sim racing. I'm afraid sometimes it's just the
15
jungle.
seconds of gridding.
Yeah, 15 seconds for him to get back in. I think once the qualifying time is finished, though, Connery, you cannot get in. That is it. You are done.
Dear.
Yeah. So Tim Yarshall will not be taking part in this second race, which is a huge shame and a huge dent in his chances of retaining the championship. Oh, the reigning champ, the winner of race number 1 today, not in the race. But again, you know, his 2 teammates, as much as they'll be disappointed with, you know, it's a teammate not in the race, ironically, it kind of helps them because there's an opportunity now for one of these to take the lead of this championship. With Isaac Price being all the way down in P11, and just to put into context, you know, he's already lost about sort of 15 points to both of these drivers today. Him being in P11 is only 12 points. Winning this race is 40 points. That's 28 points difference. One of these, Leonard Krippner or Lucas Muller, is more than likely going to come out of this week as the championship leader.
Wow.
Yeah, lots to take in.
Yeah, there's a lot. And I gotta say, looking at Yarshall's camera right now, there's a lot of lip biting, shall we say. A lot of frustration. That he's not showing it in terms of like outward, but you can see it on his face that he's not very happy about whatever has happened.
No, and he's got every right to be annoyed as well. It's not, you know, you can't expect everybody to be happy with these situations. You know, that's just, you know, they're at the height of competition. Emotions will be, you know, high. There's a reason why he's a champion. He's a bloody good sim racer, and obviously winning today's first race shows that he's got pedigree around here, so it'll be even more bitter for him to take, because there's a genuine chance of him winning this race and picking up, you know, the double point. He could have got, you know, himself 64 points today. It's just not going to happen, unfortunately, for him. But Lucas Muller will look to try and take the victory for his team, with Leonard Krippner just in behind. We've got to watch out for Ottaviani. Of course, we know he'll be quick in the second part of this. The pit stop is going to be huge today. You know, this is where the first race is all about the driver. The second race is about the driver, and if they have a race engineer in their ear, getting them that space out on circuit, make sure they've done the prep and knowing how long the pit stop's going to take, and finding that clear air, making the right decision whether to come in early or to come in late. So it's about more than one person in terms of the second race. So expect, you know, a winner to come from a little bit further back today if the front two do not have the best of races. So Lucas Muller will take us away for our final race today. We've then got Leonard Krippner in second position. Emre Cihan and Otto Viani will be on your second row. Benz Banki and Gianmarco Fiducci will be on your third row. Dreys and Michel on your fourth row. Trevozikov and Hakkinen on your fifth row. And then championship leader coming into this week, Isaac Price, all the way down in 11th position, and also reigning champ and winner from race number 1 is not in the second race. So yeah, massive championship implications as we head around that final corner, but it is a Falcon 1-2 right now as it stands. Will it be a Falcon 1-2 going down towards turn number 1? Of course, they're now waiting for the race director to give the green light signal and to get them running for the second race, the feature race of round number 3 of the DTM Esports 2025. And we are off. It's a really good start, by the way, from Gianmarco Fiducci. Fiducci's got that inside line. He's going to get ahead of Ottaviani. As we head then down towards turn number 1, it's 3 wide here for the lead as well. Fiducci's got to be really careful. You've got Emre Cihan trying to get around the outside, and he is in third position. There's smoke. Is anyone going around the wrong way? No, they're all good. They've got through nicely. Fiducci is going to end up off the third row onto the second row as it stands. Is there one more position? No, he could nab as Emre Cihan's making a run on Leonard Krippner for second spot. Gets the grip there through turn number 3. We'll have the outside line for turn number 4. Oh, almost has a bit of contact there with Leonard Krippner. That's going to give Lucas Müller the opportunity to drive away. Bit of a defensive move there from the Porsche of Emre Cihan. That's going to keep Fiducci in P4. Oh, and maybe even loses more position as round the outside, Philip Dreys will take full advantage of that lawn mowing Porsche. And wow, what a frantic start it's been. It was an unbelievable start from Emre Cihan, and then ultimately it ends up being not so good as he runs out onto the grass there. One big winner though is Gianmarco Fiducci. What a start that is. 3 positions in the first half a lap. Oh.
Timed it expertly, and the overhead view gave us a really, really good shot of his reaction time to sort of go to the right-hand lane after that, well-timed start, and able to try and draw himself alongside up in towards third place now for Fiducci. And he's got, well, Krippner and Müller further down the road, of course, but it's a longer race, more opportunities to be able to make some forward progress. Yes, he has Dreys right behind him, who's been strong over the course of this race event so far, so don't count him out of the situation either. Meanwhile, you got Christian Michel and Florian Hasse here. And guess what? You've got Isaac Price in and amongst this as well, ahead of them. He's up to 8th place.
Oh, I'll tell you what, he might be about to get a double bubble here. Emre Cihan defends that inside line, but it looks like Benz Banki maybe hung out to dry here. And if you're patient, Isaac, if you're really patient here, you might get a run here on Benz Banki and Emre Cihan. The front 5 have kind of got away, but yeah, Isaac Price has gone from 11th up to a potential 7th and maybe even a 6th. As we head then down towards turn number 1, he's currently in 8th position. You've got also behind him Christian Michel. Round the outside then for Price. He's going to get a better run in terms of getting the power down. He will have the inside line on Emre Cihan, and by the time they come through turn number 2, he should have his full car ahead, and he's going to have that absolutely nailed. Isaac Price is on the charge.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, next one down the next one up the order is Spencer Banki in the Ferrari. So, and then after that, I mean, if he does get past, it's still quite a trek down to Ottaviani. But Price, picking up the opportunities here, able to slide himself through as other cars have been having issues. This is going to be a big help in terms of the championship points situation at the end of today. It might look a little bit better than it was looking at the end of the first race if this trend does continue on. But yeah, a lot of things have happened in this second race already, with the Yarshall disconnect, the Fiducci storming run, the Cihan falling back a little bit, now Price getting himself through the order. Yeah, it's shuffled up a little bit.
I bet we see Isaac Price for the first time coming really early in this pit stop phase today. Normally we see him wait long here. I think he's going to go short and then try and get a better track position for later in this race. And I'll try and get some clear track and hope that the front 5 fight, which gives him an opportunity to close into that space. So expect to see that McLaren coming in as early as possible here today, and he is absolutely on the charge. Front 5, though, are separated by absolutely nothing here. Lucas Müller in the lead, Krippner in second, Fiducci is in third spot. We've got Philip Dreys and Otto Viani. So we know that Otto Viani is going to be very, very quick in terms of the second part of this stint. We saw that in the Norisring. It's all about whether he can just hang on to this group here. So we've got a car facing the wrong way. Who is that exactly?
Hakkinen.
Oh, Turk Hakkinen, who was a top 10. Unfortunately, he's not there anymore. That is a big drop down. Where is he? 29th position. Oh, that is gut-wrenching for the Finn. Finds himself down in 29th. So he qualified so well. Probably his best performance for a couple of weeks. but ultimately it's going to be to no avail. It will be a non-point, well, 1 point for finishing the race. Report there, the Ferrari there just gripped that inside line and maybe just didn't get the grip they wanted on the exit. Finucci just sliding the car out wide. Again, doesn't really matter during this race in terms of tyre wear, to be honest, because there is a pit stop, so they can come in a midway point in the race, or they can come in a bit earlier if they do mess up one of the stints. Just puts a bit of pressure on the second stint. Philip Dre's trying to keep Finucci honest, and Philip Dre's will have in his back of his head knowing that Finucci was strong near the second half of the race in race number 1. If he can stay close to him, there may be opportunities for him to pick off some of those Falcon Sim racing cars later in this race. He knows also that Ottaviani will be very quick in the second half, so he's also got to think about keeping him behind. Their gap now between 5th and 6th is about 2.1 seconds, so a big gap to work with, and Isaac Price really struggling to get by Ben Spanky.
Yeah, there they are in the back of shot. So yeah, I mean, this gap for the front 5 will be helpful, given, you know, obviously we have those pit stop, you know, phases to be considering. You know, you got to stretch your legs enough so that you maybe even fall into a gap that develops naturally in the mid pack to be able to get yourself down and in without too many issues. Oh yeah.
Oh, he decides not to. It is open, you see. I think Isaac Price.
Drovosikov comes in.
Yeah, I think that's a really good shot, a really good shout. I think you could defend around here. I really do. I think you can really. It's not one of those circuits where you're going to be swamped by someone overly quicker than you. So I think you can, you know, find positions on the track to position your car to defend. So track position is absolutely vital. I know it sounds silly, it's obvious, but yeah, I believe that someone of Isaac's history and his experience levels, I think a track position for him would be absolutely key right now. So yeah, I'm very surprised to not see him come in this early during the race. Shout out, by the way, to Manuel Vera, who had moved up into 15th from 25th. But looks like they've dropped down now, probably in the pits actually. Where is Vera? P26. So yeah, there we go. An early pit stop then, trying to do an undercut. But yeah, managed to get up from P25th to 15th in about 4 minutes, which is very good indeed.
Yeah, pretty good going as well. I mean, there was a couple of people tripping over each other in the sort of upper end of the mid pack, which may have caused a chain reaction a little bit further down, where people were able to gain positions. I mean, I think that might be where Price gained a lot as well, which just being in the right place at the right time as people were being caught offline. But yeah, it does mean that we have a couple of drivers, further up the fields than we're perhaps used to, at least in this particular race, and it's great to see them. Seeing Enzo Filipao there down in P12, which is a pretty good effort on his part. I haven't been talking about him much over the course of this season, but it's great to see him make an impact here at the Nürburgring. We got Julian Kunze, De Bruyne, you got Bo Dixon making a top 15 here as well, so it has shuffled up the field quite a bit.
Here we go, we're about to see a pit stop here for the McLaren. Yes, he is in. There we go. Yeah. I figured that was going to happen. It makes sense for him to come in early. Honestly, at this point, I'd just as well be the engineer for him. They're just listening to see what I'm going to say and then make that decision. But yeah, no, it just makes sense. And I think they would hope that the front five were a little bit closer than this, so they could sort of take time off of each other. They seem to have all got a nice enough gap to really be able to work with. But yeah, Isaac Price now will come in, and he might be able to push in by doing a couple of really fast laps and get in and amongst this group. But you imagine over the course of the next couple of laps that they're all going to respond anyway. So it's going to give a minimal effect because the gap was so big. But will he have jumped Ben Spanky? That's the big question. So if he could have got ahead of Ben Spanky, then it's really, really good for him. Hold on, what does it say on the side of this car here? Did it say angry? I'm sure it said angry there.
Angry? I don't know. Is he an angry person?
I don't know. I'm sure it said angry on the side there, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a bit crazy. But they have found a gap, so the engineer timed that perfectly. So lots of clear air now to push into. Yeah, cheers, guys. No worries. I'll get the thank you later on, no problem. But yeah, fair play to them. But that's I will say one thing: they've nailed it, haven't they, this season in terms of Isaac's strategy? It's been nailed every single time. Whether they've come in early, mid, or late, they seem to have figured it out. So yeah, shout out to the team behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. They couldn't have done it without your help, though, could they?
Yeah, right. Oh god.
All right. So, although you can see this front five, they have a massive gap over pretty much everyone. Obviously, we've had some pitters from this region, yes, but they're all in a very, very comfortable spot here at the moment, and it's more of a stable situation here at the very front right now, right? Because obviously they don't want to get too involved with each other. They don't want to push too hard, lest they end up losing time overall, especially to those drivers that have come down and pitted. So it's a race maintenance sort of situation for this top five here at the moment. They're not necessarily pushing. They're not necessarily looking to try to fight. It's just try and get towards the pit stops in a decent spot and see what happens sort of situation for these guys here at the moment. So that's why we're not seeing much action here, although Artigoni is trying to lock onto the back of Drace. I think even if he does get close, I don't think there will be a move on unless it's an incredibly obvious door being opened. But we'll see more of those more aggressive moves in the second half of the race, as Drace deciding to give us a bit of a smoke show, I suppose.
Yeah, a bit of a smoke show. Love a smoke show. The longer these guys stay out, this kind of plays into the hands of Isaac Price in the short term, because ultimately he will close the gap on these drivers. But I think the gap's too big for him to even get in amongst these. You never know if he had a really good in lap and a good out lap. But yeah, in terms of the longer these stay out, the better it is for him. But they'll be super fast at the end of this race because they'll have less time on the second set of tyres, whereas Isaac's going to be over 21 minutes in total, which is more than they did in the previous race. This is Manuel Vera, who's currently P24. Lots of cars, though, in front of him need to still come through the pits. He's actually running on a new set of pedals today, apparently. As we saw, who's that off the track there? Oh, crikey. Oh, that is... that's one of the BMWs, one of the R8G BMWs. Who's that? Is that Klaffenberg, maybe?
That's De Bruyne.
No, it's De Bruyne. So, yeah, he was off there, off cutting the grass. That's a freebie. Bought Manuel Vera. Vera's going to be very happy with that. And he's just keeping himself out of trouble today. But, yeah, nice to see his family and friends and people telling us about his new pedals. Really does help here. As who is into... Oh, sorry, it's Florian Hasser, isn't it? Yes, Ben Spanky is into the pits. So there we go. We're going to get to be in real time as we see a potential move then from Christian Mitchell on Florian Hasser. Not going to quite work out there. The Lamborghini will stay ahead. So we will get a look now at where Ben Spanky comes out in relative terms to Isaac Price. So here we are. So Isaac Price is coming around the final couple of corners. We've got the 88 there. Who is the number 88 for R8G? So that's I always thought that was normally Ottaviani, but it's not the case.
I don't have my spotter's guide with me.
Yeah, no. One of them, I think that probably was Bruin, to be fair. As he is out of, he's just in the pits here. So here's Ben Spanky. Where is Isaac Price in all of this? Oh, God,
Price.
No, he's not going to be ahead of him at all, is he? Oh, yes, there we go. Okay, so he's gained what? Maybe a second? Once they get out of this corner, it'll be about a second. So, yeah, he definitely won't have closed the gap on the group ahead of him by any stretch of the imagination. Nicholas Huben's got speeding in the pit lane. That is not good. That is a drive-through penalty. It might even be a stop-and-go penalty. But that's, yeah, basically, it's ended his chances of a big finish in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the only sort of... Well, one of the only automated race control decisions that we'll get, because all the race control decisions are taken after the race in these events. So there's no sort of 5 or 10 second time penalty or whatever, or drive-throughs being given by admins during the event. It all happens post-race. Meanwhile, Fiducci in, same with Drace and Ottaviani. So some big players now deciding that now's a good time to pit.
Yeah, the 3rd, 4th and 5th. Again, if the two Porsches stay out for a significant amount of time, there's an opportunity for these two to sort of drive into that gap. Be interesting to see how close Isaac's managed to get to these two. They were about 2.5 seconds ahead of him when he came in, but he came in 4 laps ago now. So, yeah, or 3 laps ago, should I say. Again, will be super, super interesting to see exactly how that plays out. I don't think he's really in the hunt here for a top 5. But considering how bad qualifying has been for Isaac over the course of the 2 races today, a top 6 is a pretty good result.
Yeah, I think so too. It's especially considering it was looking more like a top 15 being a good result at the end of the first race. So yeah, he's done well to recover.
Here we go, then.
does mean that... Here we go.
Ottaviani's coming out, so is Fiducci, so is... Oh, crikey, they're close. Oh, they are really close here. This is going to help Isaac close up if they fight down towards turn number 1. But Isaac hasn't really closed the gap as we head then through turn number 1. They are super, super close. So yeah, Isaac got into P6. I think it's probably the best he could have hoped for. These three are now all fighting. I think they are in the order they came in, to be fair. Yeah, Dreys was in between Ottaviani and Fiducci, but this is going to be a fight, and that might be the only way Isaac Price gets back into this. He's probably sat there going, oh, all right, boys. You boys fight as hard as you can. Maybe they've closed up a little bit to the race leaders as well, considering that they've come in a lap earlier on the fresher rubber now. So yeah, there might be a bit of a sting in the tail in this race yet to come. A bit of fireworks. As you can see, well, you know that Ottaviani's going to fight in the second stint here. He's always very quick in the second stint, and he is very much putting Philip Dreys under pressure right now.
Oh, look, it's trying to get the overlap on the outside of Dunlop too. Not a typical place where we see it get it done, but I mean, Ottaviani gave it a good go. Now through the Schumacher S, he's still as close as ever. That's a scary part, to drift a little bit wide through such a high-speed section, but Dreys is able to hold on to it. Meanwhile, we got Florian Hasse. He's going to inherit the race lead because we've had pitters.
Yeah, Lucas Muller and Krippner both into the pits then from the lead. The two Falcon Sim Racing car drivers are in. The Porsches are in. I would imagine they retake the lead here, or the net lead, should I say. The gap, by the way, from net P5 to P6, which is Isaac Price and Ottaviani, is now down to about 1.7 seconds, 1.8 seconds. It was, when the pit stop phase happened for Isaac Price, it was about 3 seconds. So if they keep fighting, there's every opportunity for him to catch up to them. But his tyres will go off significantly faster. How much further ahead are these two as a group? Oh, they're massively ahead, aren't they? They are massively ahead here. As we see a potential move being made here, Ottaviani's going to send up the inside of Philip Dreys. Philip Dreys there reads it nicely, and actually he says, do you know what? You're going to go far too deep here. I'm going to try and retake this position through turn number 2. Oh, it's a big spin, or a half spin, should we say. Isaac Price is going to go off circuit to avoid any potential contact. And, well, naturally, he's then going to get the position. So I don't know whether he's going to get a slowdown for that, but he was avoiding a collision. So not really much he could have done. And, well, for Isaac Price, the championship leader, he's just been gifted P5. And I don't think either of those two drivers really did a lot wrong there. I just think Dreys has tried to keep the power down a bit too tight on the outside there of Ottaviani. It's just not worked out. It's now made a very interesting battle for 6th, though.
There were a couple of bits of contact through mid-corner, though. That's the thing. Little bit of bumper banging, but yeah, whether or not that's enough to unsettle the car, we'll have to see. And obviously, the stewards will have a better view with it with their replay tools and things like that to be able to assess if there's any fault there, and that will be assessed after the race. If anything, we'll hear nothing during the course of this broadcast. But yeah, that's a big one indeed. As Florian Hasse does come down in, Bo Dixon, Christian Michel, those are the only drivers that have yet to make a visit to the pit box.
Oh, Bo Dixon last time out nearly led his first ever race in the DTM Esports. But he came into the pits with Bence Banky, and Bence Banky held on to the lead through the pit stop or the pit lane. So I wonder whether Bo just decides to stay out for that one extra lap. The one thing I will say about that incident is Philip Dreys had a DNF in the first race. He was 3rd or 4th in the championship coming into this week. So very desperate to try and make up positions in the second race to make up for what happened in race number 1. Not to say he did anything wrong there. There was a little bit of contact. I just don't think there was enough in there to really cite that anybody was at serious fault. I just think it was aggressive and yeah, just a bit clumsy more than anything. As we head then through turn number 2 once again, and Bence Banky has dropped down into 9th position, although we've got Mitchell and Dixon who are yet to pit. So in terms of the net lead, it's Lucas Muller, Leonard Krippner who are in out the front there, and the gap is about 2 seconds. So Lucas Muller really has found some real form in this race. We then got Gianmarco Fiducci, who's about 2 seconds further back from them. Ottaviani, another 2 seconds back from them. So the gaps are really starting to space out. Philip Dreys, though, trying to put some pressure on Isaac Price for that final top 5 position. Mitchell leads Dixon by about 5 seconds. So will we see Dixon lead a DTM Esports race?
on a technicality, but technically is the best kind of...
He's one of my mates, so
live
that's
lap.
why I'm saying it. I think he's coming in. I think he's coming in, actually. Yeah, he is. Oh, he could have led. Actually, I think it would have been really tight, actually, for the pit window, because it's 7.5 minutes. Yeah, it would have been tight, so it would have been a risk not worth taking. But I've known Bo a long time, Connery, nearly 10 years, actually. So it would have been nice to see him leading. But that's just me being selfish.
Yeah. Totally biased.
Yeah, completely. Not even going to deny it.
Let's see. I mean, things are kind of spread out a little bit, at least, well, especially for the top three. So Muller, Krippner, Fiducci looks like, pending any issues, this may be the order that they come across the line in to take the checkered flag, unless there's any problems in the latter portion of this race. There's Lucas Muller going through to the race lead, Luna Krippner, there we go. So everything is all in order on the left-hand side now. So it's not, as you see coming off the pit lane, Florian Hasse, Emre Cian involved with Michel coming off the pit lane there. That was a very sketchy situation. It's such a tricky one indeed, because if you're going to make a lunge to the inside into the hairpin, you are interacting with the cars coming off a pit lane as Michel on the inside.
Oh, crikey. Yeah, that was the fact that they're all facing the right way. You just got to tip your hat sometimes and go, that was fun, that was good. I like that. They're on the absolute limit. We're about to see a potential move then on Sheehan from Christian Mitchell. Of course, he'll have the better tyres now as well. He's got literally fresh boots on. It doesn't take long to fire them up on RaceRoom. And as we come then down towards the hairpin, doesn't seem like there's anything doing there. Bo Dixon actually come out in P15, so he's in behind Julian Kunze, and will have the freshest tyres, just like Christian Mitchell, for the entirety of the last stint of this race. As you see him move up the inside and into the hairpin, and those fresh tyres coming into fruition. A little bit naughty there from Christian Mitchell. He's not going to be too worried about it, though. He'll get that figured out later on when he talks to the steward. But yeah, for the time being, he's moved up to 9th. He's off to try and chase down Florian Hasse.
Yeah, and well, it just goes to show. Well, I mean, you can make a pass through the Dunlop hairpin, not impossible, but requires a little bit of force, perhaps, in that situation. But yeah, with 7 minutes left to go, there's the single file line at the very front of the field. This will give us a little bit of a chance. Perhaps look at Dravosikov, as we'll see him heading up towards the chicane. And yes, it is angry on the side of the car, because his Twitch is the Angry Sim Racer.
Yeah, I got that information as well from Zero Force Racing, so thank you for that. Maybe you've received that information from somewhere else. But yeah, that's it's always good to know. Luckily, you're never going to see my Twitch
is he
name
really angry, though?
I'm not quick. I assume so. Every sim racer is angry, aren't they, when they get hit by someone?
I mean, yeah, but like it's varying levels of angry, isn't it?
Yeah,
we could see so. the Yarshell sort of bite lip, sort of try not to punch the steering wheel face.
And then
but
there's
also
Luke
we
Crane
have people who actually do punch.
Yeah, Luke Crane throw your sim rig out the window, angry. So yeah, no, there's different levels. Kevin Siggy headbutt your steering wheel levels of angry. There's loads of different angry levels, I guess. But yeah, that's why he's called angry on the side of the car.
Yes, indeed. But not angry with his position at the moment. It's decent for Dravosikov. He's got Max Pfeiffer ahead. Philip Howe behind. Philip Howe's had a decent race as well. So all looking good here. There's a little bit of puff of smoke on the way down in towards Dunlop. That's something we've tended to see from these 2024 GT3 DTM cars. It's yeah, so there's not a spin ahead or anything, or a massive lockup. It just tends to be that there's sometimes a bit of a slide and sometimes a bit of smoke that results from it.
We've got Sebastian Wunsch in the chat, who's also a very good sim racer. He is supporting Ilya. Ilya is a lovely boy. Well, I'm not going to say that, but that's from Sebastian. Sebastian's supporting
trying to remain
Ilya.
on his good side.
Ilya Dravosikov, whose name I've absolutely nailed today, which I'm very proud of. So hopefully I don't have to say it again, because I'm on 100% record today.
Indeed you are. Indeed you are. 5 minutes left to go in this one. I've been sort of keeping an eye on this battle with Price and Drace here, because Drace has been, again, very, very quick today, and Price perhaps less so. we'll have to see how this dynamic works for the next couple of minutes, because Drace has been there. He hasn't gone for the lunge just yet. He hasn't really locked onto the back bumper, but I get the feeling he certainly has the capability.
Well, Drace is the race winner this season. He was battling with Isaac Price at Zandvoort, so he absolutely knows he's got the pace, and quite clearly the Porsche is the quickest car this week as well. So, couple, a quick driver with a quick car, and more than likely you get a quick result. So, yeah, Drace will feel like he's got a genuine opportunity in top 5 here. But again, it's one thing catching Isaac Price, quite another passing it.
All right, Murray Walker, as we head our way out the right hand, and then down the hill we go towards that Dunlop hairpin. Seems like Price is holding the position quite well, and holding the gap, excuse me. He hasn't really had to do any active defending at the moment, but managing the gap quite well. But Drace certainly focused on trying to make sure that he gets himself a top 5 finish here. But yeah, it's kind of a shame that the whole lead of the race situation has come down to the fact that, we've got 3 drivers, overall 5 seconds apart, and there's no close battling. But that isn't to take away anything from Lucas Muller's efforts, shall we say. He's he's been very, very good in qualifying. He's been up there fighting. Now he might be rewarded with a race win in the second race here at the Nürburgring. Looking like a very good day at the office for Lucas Muller, and depending on how the points turn out, he might even end up, we'll have to break the calculators out, but he might even end up as the championship leader coming out of today.
Yeah, I think it will be... Yeah, it will still be Isaac Price, but merely by a couple of points, like 4 or 5
yeah,
points.
It's on that order, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very close. But Lucas Muller will be, who was second, he will still be second, but he will be very much in the championship hunt. And this is actually the most dominant race victory we've seen this season, ironically. So
yeah.
This has been one of the more boring rounds, I would say, but it's been an unbelievable season so far, as we see Christian Mitchell and Florian Hasse having a ding-dong through turn 2, down towards turn number 3. The Porsche gets across nice and early. Sort of the Ferrari thinking, do you know what? I'm going to try and make a move there. Not quite going to work out. Drace is right up the exhaust pipe then of Isaac Price as well. But again, not really much going on. But yeah, talking about Lucas Muller, it's been a very, very good performance from him. And do you know what? I've been commentating on Lucas for about 4 or 5 years now, give or take a couple of months. And he's always been there or thereabouts at the top end on RaceRoom and on other sims as well. But he's never had that real standout result. That result that can, we had it with Tim Yarshall last season, right? Where Tim Yarshall won his first race and just never really looked back. And he had season upon season where he was sort of a top 5 driver, a top 10 driver. And then that one race victory gave him the confidence to go, do you know what, I am that driver. And sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes it just takes one race result to turn your fortunes, not just for, said championship, but just as a sim racer. To know you can beat the very best out there just takes you to that new level. It makes you more consistent. It makes you believe you can, in a practice leading up to the race during that week, it makes you feel like you can find that extra 1/10 of a second that maybe you didn't think was possible previously. So this could be... Sorry, Connery.
Sorry, it's that shift in mindset, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that it goes from this feels impossible to this feels possible.
Yeah.
It's that little change.
Sometimes it's just about knowing you belong at the table, knowing that you deserve to be at that top table. So we may look back on this result for Lucas Muller and go, that was the result that changed his fortunes. And it may not be the DTM Esports Championship, right? It may be something else in the future. It might be, the DTM Esports Championship next year. It could be, another RaceRoom Championship. It could be on another sim, It might not necessarily be this season. But I just think we're going to look back on this and go, do you know what? This is the first time he's really ascended to the top. And it's not just, winning the race. It's the manner in which he's done it today. Been absolutely superb, to be fair, and it's again the most dominant win we've seen so far this season.
Yeah, I couldn't have put it better myself. And he's got 20 seconds on the clock plus whatever rest of the lap he has to run, and he will be DTM Esports winner for the second race at the Nürburgring. It's looking pretty good at the moment. 3.3 seconds back to his teammate Krippner. No problems there whatsoever. There he is as the clock expires. He's in his sort of coming up towards the final sector now. Lucas Müller, what an event.
Yeah, what a weekend for Lucas Müller. The start of the Easter weekend. So I'm sure there'll be some celebrations over the course of the next few days. Probably with some very cold refreshments, that's for sure, as we bounce our way through that final chicane in towards the final corner. And while we've had 6 races, ladies and gentle cars, this season, and this is going to be our 5th different winner. But the most important thing is it's a feature race win, which is worth more than, well, almost double the points of what you would get for a sprint. You can see what it means to him, the smile on his face. Oh, he's a beautiful man, isn't he, old Lucas Müller? He takes victory here at the Nürburgring. He takes 40 points. And he'll be having the best prize of all and talking to me and Connery very, very shortly. Leonard Krippner finishes in 2nd spot. We've got Gianmarco Fiducci, who does finish in 3rd. A very good week there for the Hymo driver. We've then got Ottaviani, who finishes in 4th position. 2 Italians there in 3rd and 4th. Isaac Price with a very good recovery drive, 11th up to 5th position. Had a fight with Dreys, but it just was never enough for Dreys to get that victory. But let's just go back to the race winner. It's Lucas Müller. He deserves all the plaudits today. That was a very good display. We didn't see a lot of him, to be honest, on camera, just because that was how dominant he was. There was maybe a chance that some people were going to try and undercut him, but he just done such good work in the first part of the race and ultimately takes that victory. Here is the official race results. And Lucas Müller for Falcon Sim Racing Team heads a 1-2 with Leonard Krippner in 2nd by 3.4 seconds. Gianmarco Fiducci heads a Italian 3-4 with Gianmarco and Alessandro Ottaviani in 3rd and 4th. Isaac Price with a fantastic recovery drive. Are we going to be looking back on this P5 as a massive step towards the DTM Esports Championship? Who knows? We are literally halfway through now as well. Philip Dreys in 6th position after a DNF in race number 1. Needed a result here, managed to get it. Florian Hasser finishes in 7th. Christian Mitchell finishes in 8th twice. We've got Ben Spanky, who finishes in 9th position. Then we've got Emery Chihan, Trafozikov, Pfeiffer, Filipao, Kunze, Dixon, Maulana, Neg, Vera, and Chari. And then we've got Hakkinen, Berliak, Carton, Klaffenberg, Juhas, Bidolf, Mackenberg, Kraevi, Huben, and De Bruin as your 29 drivers. Right, let's get into it. No messing about. It looks like Lucas Müller is doing the German interview first. We've got Leonard Krippner that will come and get involved with our interview. So I have the pleasure of welcoming Leonard into the commentary booth for a little chat. I say commentary booth, Discord call. Leonard, P2, congrats, mate. You all good?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Feeling kind of good, real good. Yeah, can't be happier, really.
Well, your head's normally in the clouds anyway because you're 9 foot tall, but it must be feeling absolutely amazing today.
Yeah, honestly, going into this, I wasn't too confident. Like Tim and Lucas, I think it was visible in both races and both qualies. All of us were really quick. The two of them were a bit quicker going into this, and just about a day ago, I finally found something in the setup, and I had to compromise my car a bit for both races. But I think it worked out in the end. The risk I took to a certain degree, and yeah, I'm really glad to take away 2 podiums and a good bag of points. And hope to follow it up like that for the rest of the season.
Go on, Connery. Fire away.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I don't know, solid set of points, shall we say, here today. It looked very, very positive for you. Was that an expectation coming in, or were the results today a bit of a surprise?
I think looking at the practice times all of us produce, and also at the hours we put in, we were pretty confident in our pace, to be honest. We knew that we were fast, but I think if Tim would have stayed on the server without a disconnect, I think we could have even made it a P1 to 3. So I think it also speaks volumes about the preparation we had, about the teamwork we put into this, and yeah, even though it's sad to have lost one of us on the way here, I think it's a testament to the work we put in before this race. Yeah.
The risk of starting some internal team beef here, Leonard. What's going to happen? It looks like it's going. Isaac's up there, right? Of course, we know Isaac being on his own, but there's a couple of drivers in the same team, being your team, being you, Lucas, potentially Tim. Obviously, Tim not having a good time today. What happens if you get to the final couple of rounds and you're all fighting for a championship? What are the rules?
Yeah, I guess we'll have to work that out at some point. I mean, ever since Norisring, or right after the race, we made out the goal that our first goal is to catch up to Isaac. That's the first priority. So as a team, we need to put in the effort to catch up to him. And after that, maybe a fun fact to know, Lucas and myself, we're both also team managers of the team. So we also got to be examples to a certain degree and obviously have a conversation within the team.
Oh dear.
But I think we're all grown-ups, and I know how motorsport works out sometimes. But let's put it like that. We'll talk about it when we get there. But for now, the target is to actually compromise or overtake the guys that are currently leading, and after that, we can have a look into our individual championship hopes.
Nice one, mate. Well, congratulations. Enjoy your Easter beers this weekend, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you very much. Same to you and everyone watching. And yeah, have a good one. Bye bye.
Well, there we go. We spoke to Leonard Kripno, who finished in second. But now we get the pleasure of talking to our fifth different winner of the season. It is that man, Lucas Müller. Mate, you must be feeling amazing.
I'm feeling very, very good, I can tell you that.
I spoke a little bit about you in the last couple of laps, actually, in the broadcast about, you know, you've been there or thereabouts for a few years. Obviously, we've known each other for a few years as well, and I could be very honest with you in an interview. And maybe you've not been top of the tree yet. Is this the result that changes that? Do you believe this might be a result we look back in a couple of years and go, that was the one that really changed your fortunes?
It depends. I mean, I know what you're trying to say, and I think I can agree on most parts of it. Like sometimes it's a bit of an up and down. I mean, I've won esports races across like many different platforms, which I think not many people can say. So I don't know if that like this win now is like the most special one or whatever. I mean, it definitely feels good, like the first one in the DTM season. And I mean, now obviously the season looks very good already, and I really hope that for the remaining rounds I can keep the form up. And yeah, I think like just like in general, like we as a team, we work very good together. And yeah, I think the outcome you can see pretty clearly. We are all of three of us are very quick, like everywhere, no matter if it's quali race. Doesn't matter which track. And I think, yeah, in the end, it's just a team game, and the better your team is, the better yourself are. And yeah, I'm just very, very happy today. Obviously, a bit part of me is a bit sad, obviously, with the disconnect from Tim, which is unfortunate because he obviously would have been very quick in a race. I don't think we need to argue about that. But yeah, overall, very happy today. Would have loved to be on the podium in the first race as well, but yeah, played the team game there a bit. But yeah, let's see what the remaining races have in store for us.
Copy that. Connor, you got anything?
Well, you know, I guess obviously this massive result for you, you know, is going to be a big help in terms of the championship, and you know, nothing can take that away from you. However, the fact that Tim obviously had his sim problem, was it a disconnect? Was it a crash? I wasn't. I'm not privy to that information. But how's the moods in terms of the team then? Because obviously it's a bit bittersweet because yes, you guys got the 1-2 in the feature race. However, Tim had whatever happened to him. So how's the feeling at the moment?
I mean, obviously, on my side of the garage, it's pretty good. Probably on Tim's side, it's not that good. But I think the good part about us is that in the end, as I already told you, like we're working as a team. We're working together in the races as well, and like the team result is like the first priority for us. So obviously now maybe the mood of Tim probably is not that good, but we will get him back on track, and yeah, he's gonna win some more races this year. I mean, I'm very sure about that. So yeah, he's not out of the championship. Like he's insanely quick, and yeah.
A very simple and very important question to ask you before we head off. How many beers are you going to have this weekend to celebrate that?
Good question. I know I have a lot of beer in my basement, so I'm going to find something, and I'm going to tell you maybe tomorrow or whatever how many there were.
Yes.
We're going to keep that private, maybe.
Nice one, mate. Well, enjoy your weekend, buddy, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening, boys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, there we go, Connery. That's another week in the books. Let's have a quick look then at. I'm stretching here. Look at me. I'm arms all over the place. I'm trying to stay in shot here, but no, I'm all dancing. Let's check out the calendar then for the rest of the season, so you guys know where to come and watch us and all of that good stuff. So of course, round 3 in the books. DTM Esports special event. We still have no idea what that is going to be. I still think it's going to be me versus Connery. To be honest, I think that's what's going to happen.
Oh my god!
It's a 1v1 for 2 hours. Round 4 will be at the Sachsenring. That's the second racing of May. Then we head to one every month. So we'll be here in June for the Red Bull Ring. And then the finale, the Hockenheim Ring in July. Connery, it's been an absolute pleasure. Any final thoughts from you?
Well, I mean, what? 5th different winner?
Yep.
That's a big statement about how the championship has gone so far. Big shame for Tim Yarshall, of course, but like Muller said, he's going to bounce back from this. Absolutely, he's definitely the kind of person who would and wouldn't dwell well on this. So I expect him to see. Perhaps a bit of a resurged or re-energized Yarshall when we get into the Saxon Ring, the Red Bull Ring, Hockenheim Ring. And to maybe give the challenge to Price once again, and of course his teammates.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, makes complete sense to me. One thing I will say is the championship for the neutral out there, the championship was about 34 points, I think, 36 points maybe. The difference between P1 and P2 coming into this week. Now it's into single digits. So as a neutral, then you've got to be happy with that and make sure that you do indeed come and join us for the rest of the season, because we are already at the halfway point of the 2025 season. So yeah, make sure you come and join us. Either subscribe to the DTM Esports or DTM channel, should I say, RaceRoom channels on YouTube and indeed on Twitch. But from me and Connery, I bid you a very good evening. See you later.